Welcome back to Galaxy Battle. Not a lot of matches today, but the one that we do have is going to be an absolute banger. It is ECLOT versus Nexus, and alongside me, Pronogo. How are you doing, my friend?
Hey, doing pretty well, man. I'm happy to be here looking at these two squads. One of them, very familiar with. ECLOT obviously made a pretty deep in the campaign to qualify to Tipsport Conquest of Prague's LAN finals, but unfortunately fell at the final hurdle to Fnatic, a team that is a bit on the resurgence. On the other side, Nexus, I mean, everybody knows Nexus at this level of play, but can they do a little bit better than what they do on their day to day? I feel like you never want to count them as a team that's actually going to be able to score a dub consistently, but they are dangerous. And so I think this one could indeed be banger status.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about this off camera, right? That it's very difficult to predict these teams. I feel like they are one of the more inconsistent bunch in this tier of play. But I think what you can predict is, as you alluded to, very exciting matchup because
Mhm.
both these teams have those just that magical effect where you watch and sometimes you're like, wow, that's a crazy round, and then it happens again. Like that. A lot of times you're just like, what is going on exactly? But they always find a way. And again, both of them are actually 1-0 in the Swiss stage so far. So have done well in the tournament so far. Looking to put yourself up 2-0. Where I think when you look at both teams,
Oh,
like
yeah.
maybe you're expecting that from ECLOT, but I feel like for Nexus this would be a bigger victory in a sense. I would still put ECLOT a little bit above them. But it depends
Mm.
on what maps we play, of course. And so, take it away. These are the map picks.
Yeah. Looking at it right now, I mean, Ancient makes a ton of sense here for Nexus, as it's a map that ECLOT aren't the most practiced on. However, they shouldn't necessarily be pushovers. They have played it somewhat recently. Looking over to the rest, though, I feel like this is going to be easy status for Banger. If we get to the point where Dust 2 comes out, because Anubis
Oh, yeah.
is, of course, map number 2, I think Anubis handily goes the way of ECLOT, and I think that Dust 2, that could be a really exciting decider if we get there. So it's all down to Nexus to take us there, in part by winning Ancient, which is up first. Looks like
Yeah, let's
Nexus
go,
will be
man.
on the defensive pistol. And, that is kind of interesting, right? Because I feel like normally when somebody picks Ancient into you, you want to start CT side, see if you can control the chaos that can happen on this map. So it's a little bit of a change up from what we're used to. ECLOT, they want to take things a little bit more speedily. And right now, they're posturing towards that A-bomb site, a little bit of mid-peak as well. Pretty slow goings of it. Nubik trying to see what he can do in A main, but this is looking like a pretty passive pistol. Neither team really going for the aggro.
Well, right as you say that, Mikey just pops out a headshot towards mid, long range as well. I believe that was a double dink. And that leaves huge holes in this defense, because even though you have players nearby, you still have to get on site, try to deny the plant. That is clean from Zello. He gets a triple. Oh my goodness. I told you this is going to be a banger matchup. We get a, top 5 tournament clip in the first round already. Let's go.
I know, it's Yellow going in with 5 kills, right? Pistol ace. You don't write home about that every day, but when you're going up against ECLOT and it's your map pick, yeah, you're going to enjoy starting it off in that kind of successful campaign. Look at this. Just onto the site, gets every single duel. Forzy didn't know what hit him, and that was already after the first frag was found. So pretty wild stuff there in favor of Nexus, and looks like we're off to the races nice and early here.
That really is a nice start. Damn. All right. We have a buy as well for ECLOT. So, 3 Galils, Mac 10. I don't like their chances, and it almost feels like they're offering a free 3-0 start to Nexus here. But Mangus, rather, that's a new addition. That's somebody I haven't seen on the ECLOT roster. I think very recently joined. Might be a stand-in. Well, he proved himself to be quite worthy with the nade.
Yeah, that works out pretty well to start things off, because this force buy here from ECLOT, I mean, it makes sense. You get the bomb plant down, you have that extra money to splash out. Definitely something that the CTs have to be careful of. The second round reset can be so brutal. So far, though, Nexus haven't exactly bled out. They are rotating players over, a little bit more of a lean towards mid and A. And it's looking likely that ECLOT will be able to get onto the bomb site with the B bomb plant. I think that's in our future here. Really, a lot of it comes down to whether BTN can hold this double mid push.
He can't, but he will get away in time, giving the valuable information to the team. It seems like ECLOT, they want to aggress on B here, and that would actually be a really good read. Now, Sound is quite close, so he might catch early wind of this, but the rotations are quite far away. Mikey now spotted towards mid. All you really have to do is just group up towards B and execute. They don't know how free the bomb site really is, with the rotations now coming in, so is the push, and because of 2 smokes, that's a plan given over to ECLOT, or at least it should be. Mangus, the one who started it all, goes from a spam. BTN spams down another, not ready for the deagle, and that's actually Vitar with the frag. MP9 picked up. Now a 3v3 situation, 2 cave, 1 towards long. This cave engagement will prove everything. BTN goes for the spams, but they're holding the correct angle, so this just comes down to hitting the shots, and they're all going to be pushing in together. So Longs gets the first, not ready for Forcey, who's able to get 1, and double 1v2 for Zello. Low HP, gets a headshot, but it will be the clutch. Wow, what a nail biter already.
I know, an 8-0 start here for Zello. He is clearly firing on all cylinders. Now, his team did set him up with those trades. I still can't say I'm a super fan of Nexus going for the retake when you think about the money. They leave with 1 guy alive. Might have been actually worth it in the long run to try the, especially you think about the percentages. How often are you going to be able to uproot this 3v3 retake with the utility already down and the T's already burrowed in, but they do make it happen. So even though the percentages might have said, don't do that, Nexus flawed that completely. They immediately throw that plan out the window and just come on in firing. When Zello's playing like that, he's got the op already in round 3. This is going to be big.
Well, Mikey will just run and gun, drive by Raga, but Zello and Longs come in with the frags. That's Zello now looking for the double-digit kills without a single death 3 rounds in. He's 1 away. He's had a banger of a start, but to be honest, I'd like to see a little bit more from the rest of the squad, right? Because it should never be a situation where 2 rounds in, one of your players has 8 kills, and you really had to struggle. It basically came down to this exact player to win that second round. So obviously, we're 3 rounds in. There's so much time to wake up. Just saying, this would be a good round to do so. Sound still sitting on 0.
Yeah, fair point as well. We got to keep watch on that because Sound was not able to overwhelm Detour's Deagle in Cave earlier, and that's a fight that you'd think goes to the MP9 9 times out of 10. So now we have this 3-man group up here. They're going to see if they can flush out the CTs. BTN spots 1. Nice little swing there. Wasn't actually spotted. Okay, well, he's not going to be able to get away with a frag here. And Mangus has even taken out Zello, but they're not expecting a 3rd player. Sound is going to be able to redeem himself for that last round with a 3-man spray down. There you go.
Man, we set him up perfectly. He should edit this and put it on his CV.
I know, yeah. There you go. He's ready to wake up. I'm awake now. If that was on LAN and he somehow heard the casters.
Yeah, so, well, good job, Sound. That is what we're looking for. Raga, you're next up. I'm feeling it. This is the round for Raga to go absolutely nuclear, because it is kind of what has been offered so far. Just a one-man show, but I guess we'll have a rotation of heroes depending on the round.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I mean, Nexus is going to be pretty happy with themselves if they can keep this pace going. That's another round here where Dynamo ECLOT do not get the bomb down as well for round number 3, so they can't continue these force buy wars in the same fashion that they have been, where they've been able to pull out all these rifles and occasionally a MAC-10. Now it's going to be some pistols alongside Mikey's hero AK. So we're not really getting to see ECLOT's best here on Ancient. They are really forcing quite heavily. A little bit of a reset here as we wait for exactly what the buy is going to be. They might actually reconsider their options here. They've had enough time to do so. But yeah, overall, I would say at this point, no, they are still going for that hero AK. And it feels to me like Dynamo ECLOT, they are going to need to find some heroics here and get on the board here, or it's just going to be more and more dire the longer this goes on. I mean, if they can get a couple of frags, they get a bomb plant down, they can buy into the next round without really even having to remember this painful buy that they're doing in round 4, but it's dicey.
It is. It has been really close so far, except for that pistol start from Zello. Yeah, I feel like ECLOT have still done well. like the pistol round you can kind of just count out, like that's really good timing and great aim combined, whatever. But the 2 rounds they've actually had, you know, lower buys, limited utility, they've always found a way how to at least make it competitive, and now with almost no buy, they're just gonna rush an A, but still Mikey will get one with the hero AK, and that's again bomb site given up. At this point your mission is just to get the bomb down. It will become a little bit more difficult. Pushes out longs, that's a good call. You want to deny this bomb plant, because cash is still very much of an issue for ECLOT. And it seems like, well, they'll have it to buy up, but Nexus deal with this shoot quite comfortably.
Yeah, that ended up just being a by-the-numbers hold here after Raga goes down. Mikey not able to frag longs, and that's really where the beginning of the end starts for ECLOT on that A-bomb site. So we are going to see the rifles again, and of course Forzy on the T-sided sniper. And at this point, you really got to start to say, okay, you've been able to make stuff happen. You've been able to at least get it bloody and kind of burden the CTs economically speaking. They don't have a ridiculous bank, a war chest to finance this some more. But oh man, this is looking so dangerous, especially with Lonks fragging out in middle. However, Nubik has been able to fight back, and it looks like maybe Dynamo ECLOT have something to work with in this 4-on-3.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna give away a kill here for free to Zello. Mangus has pushed up a little bit, but this is still gonna be interesting. I think he might be caught off guard here. Whoa, he has crossed over, sounded the refrag. Zello gets one, and now they hear the mid-aggression. The op is low, but still hits the shot, and they know exactly where Zello is. So this would be for yet another hero play from Zello. Has literally 10 kills in 4 rounds. Well, 5, I guess, and 1v2 completed already. Actually has a really good read of the situation. We have to remember Forzy does make noise. Forzy holds the angle, but Zillow hits it, and now he knows about Detour as well. He's so locked in. One more kill needed to keep that flawless streak going. As things slow down a little bit, Zello gets away right in time, but now Detour moves in, and Zello might not be ready, might not be aware. That's a good frag from Detour. Perfect timing to start the push there as well.
Yeah, somebody's finally put him down in a clutch, and Zello will not be able to continue the unabated streak that Nexus have mounted here. Finally, Dynamo ECLOT are going to be able to be on the board, get themselves there, and some of the really nice shots between Forzy and Zello in that round. That was a nice little up highlight. Not something that Ancient is particularly known for, with all the utility and all the awkward angles that can sometimes foment on that map. Those little gunfights usually end up favoring rifle-on-rifle action, but really nice to see that those mid-fights ended up getting pretty hectic, and even then at the end, really good peaks, and just pure mechanics of Counter-Strike. And now Forzy's already cracking off here, finding BTN in cave. Talk about another slightly unorthodox angle for an op to find out, but he's basically crowbarring in this B-bomb site, and there's a stack here.
Oh, sound. Yeah, aggressive. It works out, gets the extra damage in, but I think this is hurt, so Nubik is expecting a nice flash, and he should be dead. And that's a really nice play right there. The M4 on the other side of Longs has to get a lot more. Gets one, gets extra damage in, but 2 here would shut it down. As he takes down Mangus. It's a 1v2 for Forzy on low HP. He has the op as well, and I think it's spotted. So at this point, you should not have peeked it. Lonks maybe gets over aggressive. Oh my god, Raga needs a little bit of aim practice perhaps. You know, could just be an off round, but still gets it on the board. 5th one for Nexus.
Yeah, I don't know how Dynamo ECLOT did that. Yeah, that was so awkward here because they find out, okay, Lonks is the 4th player on the site. Like at this point, they know there's been a humongous stack on this B-bomb site. And they slow things down enough to realize, okay, it's a 2v2, and there's at least one more on the site. What do we do here? Apparently not trade Mangus, who was so low on HP. He was 1 bullet away, no matter where it landed. So really rough optics there on Dynamo's side. They need to maybe do their protocols a little bit better. But it all started with these weird mid-fights that they've been taking. And weird maybe is the wrong word. Aggressive. I like that word that you use. Definitely applicable to this because, well, we've got more pace. Dynamo already storming this B-bomb site. Sound only good for 1. Where's the trade out of cave? BTN not in a good position. Now he's going to get smoked off. He'll get a little bit of spam out there, but no damage dealt, actually. This is going to be rough for Nexus to do, but they are going for it.
Yeah, I mean, this has been just a gunfight overall so far. MP9 long range gets a little bit of damage in. The kill from Forzy makes it a 3v3. Now things slow down a little bit as the smoke fades. We're setting up for that one final push. Forzy is in a good position. Now there's a crossfire. That's a really good setup from ECLOT. And I think a really good call as well. The op will go down. It's a really good call to just go for these aggressive pushes because they notice, you know, utility usage is not the strong point for Nexus here. It's usually just one of these guys getting a 2-piece, getting a 3-piece, and, you know, when you all push together, at least it makes it a lot more difficult to do. So I think even though Nexus have started off good, ECLOT have kind of maybe figured out their strong suit, and I'm expecting a lot more adaptation in the utility realm from Nexus here.
Yeah, it's a good point as well. I mean, you're thinking about how Nexus are also stacking the bomb site on the B side. They're doing that because they're not necessarily getting a lot of value out of these mid fights with utility. Sometimes they'll get a frag, but more often than not, it goes ECLOT's way in the mid round. So to see Nexus sort of be toppled on their stack, and then, you know, the odds are of them going for the stack again right after that, pretty slim. That's how ECLOT find their second round. And now they've reset the economy. There's no money here for a full buy. Nexus will be forcing out basically a deco round, if you want to call it that, although they do have some armor with this, and a little bit of utility that's already been dispensed. Looks like Sound trying to line up the shot. And it looks like hard one to commit to. Lonks is also kind of playing around the angle. That's a cheeky little 5-7, and look at that, doubling up. A little bit of extra damage dealt. The pistols can swarm this position so easily.
They have the player advantage, but they are ready for just every single corner to be occupied by a pistol, so it's a pretty good read. They get the frag in, and they will find a completely open B site. Nexus, aware of it, have to figure out where to rotate, because it feels like it's too early to rotate from Red Room, and especially because Forsey is there. Just has to hit a shot and get away, and yeah, that's perfect from him. Even relocates. He's going to hold this deeper angle. I mean, if they go for it, should be... They don't. Either way, it did look good for, you know, just the pistols. I mean, it literally was just a great play from Longs. That was pretty much where it stopped. Yeah, you know, by like a Counter-Strike rulebook, you'd never go and push for the second there, and I kind of watched it, didn't want to say anything, but I think that's kind of what Nexus have to offer here, with Longs being the most recent addition. He has brought a lot of just explosivity to the team that I think really works out in a team that is very dominated by these rifle players.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Lonks is just a player who's been around long enough to know sort of what the limitations of most teams are, what they're expecting, what their expectations are, and then he can play around in the chaos here. So he does that, he calls for the flash. That's enough to kind of discombobulate this attack from ECLOT, and it would have worked out pretty marvelously if Sound had been able to maybe refrag with Deagle, but unfortunately, they weren't quite able to get into good positions. They still come out of that with 2 AKs, and that complicates their next buy. What are they actually going to be bringing into the table? The secondary sidearms have been dropped by BTN and Raga, so Zello and Sound have those equipped. A little bit of util, a P250 upgrade for Lonks. Either himself or somebody else afforded him that. And so, yeah, kind of just a little mix buy with 2 hero AKs on the CT side. We'll see if they can mount some kind of miracle run at this point to get their 6th. Otherwise, it looks like maybe it'll be 3 in a row for ECLOT. And it really just depends on where they slow things down. Mangus with a Mac 10 on this round is kind of pointing towards maybe more speed as opposed to composure. So we'll see. Maybe that can bite back in favor of Nexus.
Yeah, the pistols will be eliminated by the Mac 10s. Good push by BTN, though. Will catch the timing, and for having the hero rifle, right, this is where you'd like to get another and get away. That would set them up for another close round. Seems like Nexus are quite adept at making work with less. Longs, wow, that is a commitment. I would have been running away. Yeah, he will catch molly damage. Oh no, that's a lot of it. All right. Well, they're all gonna just go back to B. No commitment from ECLOT. Actually, there is commitment. They throw in the util, man. This is just gonna be all-out brawl. Sure, there's only pistols on the side of Nexus, but maybe if BTN can get one on Cave here. He's looking to maybe push up or stay on the side. This is just going to be a massacre if they push on. Mangus with the frag. Not ready for Zello, though. He gets a shot. The Deagle gets another 1v2. Forsey catches 1 and 2. Damn, another really close one, but Forsey has been standing tall in the game so far. 10 and 6 on the scoreboard. But again, a very close round.
Yeah, these rounds are just firefights, non-stop aggression from both sides, even from the defensive side. You know, it's not necessarily the most scintillating tactically or even strategically, but if you like the explosions, you're liking the set so far. Ancient has been quite a bloody affair, and ECLOT are continuing to play themselves back into form. Now against the rifles, no op available, but no op needed for Raga, who blind takes out Nubik in the middle, but this opens up the A bomb site. ECLOT are now going towards it on the rifle buy, knowing that it's not something that they have done any pressure towards at all. Makes sense that Nexus would sacrifice it anyway. A lot of retake ends up happening over here, and Mikey with a little dance is able to take Zello out. That's a big frag to find, but look at that planting in the open. Absolute tragedy there. Sound is going to be absolutely stoic, and there you have it. Just like that, the ECLOT players fall. They get the bomb plant, but very Pyrrhic victory because somebody forgot their mid-smoke.
Yeah, I think the reason why ECLOT hasn't really favored that A site is exactly this. Nexus are quite good at retaking it. I've had a lot more issues on B. I think a pretty big bombshell that we haven't even talked about that I just noticed now, maybe you knew about this. These two teams played yesterday, and Nexus lost 0-2, and if you look at the map pool, it was Ancient and Anubis to start things off. Now, finisher here would be Dust 2, and in fact, yesterday it was Dust 2 as well, so we're literally getting a rematch with the exact same maps in the exact same order. Now, the score yesterday on Ancient was 9-13 in the favor of ECLOT, and after a 7-5 CT start for Nexus, they lost 2-8, so they had pretty much no T side in the second half. So, yeah, it is quite interesting to pretty much look at an exact repeat. You know, 7-5 is a very possible scoreline here.
Yeah, absolutely. Could very well be the same situation. And also worth pointing out here, I mean, Nexus picking CT side, or rather ECLOT picking T side on their opponent's map pick here. Nexus having to start out on the CT side. I wonder if that's some kind of, you know, normal thing that ECLOT do, since they obviously did it last map as well. But interesting. Anyway, I wonder if there's some mind games there. Like, yeah, of course, we're going to do the same thing as before. Zello, a rare whiff, not able to catch the boost towards the B-bomb site. That's going to give information over as to where the op is. And look at this. Mikey not able to respond in time. Gets caught slipping, and then puts his team in a bit of an awkward position, right? That was a lot of CTs that lurked over, but they can rotate so fast. And now Raga, he catches Nubik on the attack. That's a bit of a clothesline, and there's so many spots for them to check. There's no hope now for ECLOT to get themselves in a fighting chance. It's just Detour, 1-on-3, and there will be no Detour here. Smooth sailing, straight line to 7 rounds for Nexus.
Looking solid for sure. I think they've switched up how they play a little bit. They play, we can see more off angles, they play more together. I think they also figured out, it's good to see that it's literally adapting in real time, right? Like ECLOT figure out, hey guys, we can just push on sites. And kind of how Nexus deal with that now for that round number 5. So a 7-4 start again yesterday, exact same map, exact scoreline first half was 7-5 on Nexus CT side. So let's see if Nexus are doing better than yesterday.
Oh no.
Alright, that's a player down. There's still sound though, but another Tech 9 will catch a shot, and now that's a player advantage. Make that 0, 3-3. They try to push in, they know they're up against pistols, so take the fight to your home. Going to spam through. This is a close 2v2.
Oh my
Forsey gets one, and they're aware of Zello as well, who actually has been underperforming, so this would be the round to clutch. He's on the up. Molly will be laid down. They're waiting for his peek, and he's re-peeking. How? Come, no way. Zello gets a frag. Now he knows there was a plan going through, and the Deagle needs a shot. What are we watching, dude? That's a crazy 1v2, and second one in this first half as well for Zello. First one was off of pure skill. Here, ECLOT just overplayed it.
It's a different kind of pure skill. Yeah, the pure skill of your opponents was lower than you. Zello just catching that throw real easy. And yeah, I mean, the question there really becomes, you know, like, how sharp are your fundamentals going to be in a match where everything has been about pure aim, chaotic decision-making, nonstop checking of every corner, every angle, because you have no idea where the T or CT is actually going to be. A very brawly first half here. And while it doesn't quite match the script of the last time these two met, it's pretty close. And that means that we'll be in an interesting position here going into the second half. We said earlier, or you mentioned that Nexus have strugglesome T side on this map. At least that is exactly what happened in the last time these two teams brawled yesterday. So if Dynamo ECLOT can continue to perform a bit of a clinic, you know, lockdown CT side, really the 8-4 or 7-5 doesn't matter too much to them. They've apparently done their job. So we'll see if they're happy with that score line after all as we get into the second half.
Yeah, one round better is actually a lot better, because it's an 8-4. This is ECLOT's pick as well, right? So...
Yep.
Or
no, this is Nexus.
Goes next.
I'm pretty sure.
I think it shows up there.
Oh no, you're right. It does say on the overlay. It was this whole time. I thought it was Nexus.
I mean, it has looked like it. Like I understand where you're coming from. It has looked like Nexus are the better team, and this would really just seal the deal. If you can just get the pistol over the line, you're expecting double digits at that point. And for some reason, I don't believe that much in ECLOT's comeback power to that level. Might be getting ahead of myself. Obviously there's still plenty of rounds to be played, and especially this pistol. Yeah, I feel like you can feel the tension on both sides. Nexus really don't want to overstep, don't want to make a mistake. So they're just kind of lurking out, trying to poke and prod a little bit.
Yeah, it's hard to even take anything you see here on a pistol round and use it against your opponents later on too, but they are still trying to feel them out. And Sound will eventually trade Mikey. Good first shot there from the defender. It is going to be an A push, and Nubik feels a little bit slow to fire, but Forzy is anything but, and that's an even faster flick. We could be on for back-to-back pistol highlights from the Oppers. Forzy trying to emulate Zello. Not going to be able to get the ace, but now Sound at a 1-on-3. Not a Sound situation, in fact. Feels quite difficult for him. He's looking, searching for any heads. He's at least got a USP, but Forzy will clothesline him as he exits the donut position, and that is a nice and easy start for ECLOT. And yeah, I mean, you talk about their comeback. Do you believe? I think you start to believe a little bit more once it gets to the point where they've picked up the pistol, especially when Forzy's cracking heads like this.
Yeah, Forza is just on a different level right now. He's 17-8. His next teammate is on 8 kills. Like, he's single-handedly keeping them in the game. And I gotta be honest, that's probably the cleanest pistol round I've seen in a long while. We get a banger of USP pistol rounds, First one was the same from Zello. This time was Forzy's time. The second shot is nice. The third one is just a screamer.
Yeah.
Oh, we're pushing out. All right. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Why not?
Just the Glocks for Nexus, and that's an easy 6th for ECLOT. So, after all, this will be a lot closer game.
Yeah, that certainly thins the herd, reduces the distance between them, not too much daylight. We'll see what happens between, the next rifle round. This wasn't a humongous investment, obviously. Nexus not able to get the bomb plant down in their T-pistol is one key difference between the first round of this map, so Dynamo ECLOT were able to start the force buy wars, and maybe that kind of cost them a little bit. They gave up a lot of potential in those first 4 rounds as a result, but Nexus are just going to pull out the rifles immediately, as soon as possible. 3rd round of the second half. And it looks like they are making their way towards the A-bomb site, where Dynamo ECLOT are currently not at home. Nobody home. Nubik has already been taken out of the map, and, well, that certainly complicates things, especially with mid being crunched. Oh yeah, Raga's on a tear. Look at that. 3 kills for him. Headshots galore. Well, the A site's already compromised, but even if it wasn't, I think this would be a round you'd call. Especially with Sound already moving through, finishing it off as Detour was looking for something. It's just Forzy alive, and he just wants to hold on to his gun. This is my rifle. And it's not anymore.
That's a really valuable round for Nexus to win. For, I think, might actually be 3 different reasons. Like, this was a really impactful round. First, again, yesterday they played this exact same map, and they, after a 7-5 start, they lost 9-13. They got 2 rounds and 10 played on T side. So it's really good to put yourself on the board early, right? Because mentally you're gonna like get there. If you lose 2 or 3 more, you're gonna start thinking, oh, and some deja vu. So that's first.
Yep.
2, economy is completely broken for ECLOT. Like, they are just gonna have deagles and USPs. So again, should be a rather easy way to put yourself on double digits. And I think reason number 3, got there eventually. ECLOT might be a little bit tilted after that, just because it's 4-8. You win the pistol. It's so clean. You're feeling like you're finally starting to get in the game. And now again, it should be 6-10, which you know, just weighs on your mental a little bit more. So, huge conversion for Nexus, and now that buy one, get one for free deal, this should be a sweep of a round.
Should be, for sure. A little bit of armor on Mikey and Nubik. Small arms galore on the side of the defenders. And you're right that it cuts the momentum out of ECLOT immediately. Wind out of their sails, stealing their thunder. Nexus just walking up and saying, thanks. We'll take that. It looked so easy, too. You can't argue with the aim. It's a little bit too powerful for ECLOT to handle. Constantly getting the better of them is Nexus, and now they're kind of slinking on towards the B-bomb side, which is kind of where ECLOT are leaning towards. With Mangus going down so early, though, that might frustrate attempts, and especially if Detour's going to walk into cave like that. That doesn't seem like a good move. This looks like it's all about to end. A sweep indeed.
Nexus will punch in the digits. Get yourself the 10th. I like how they've been playing. I feel like after the first couple, we're like, oh, they're playing well, but it seems like rifle rounds are going to be a big issue. So I'm happy that they've fixed them in a sense, have played more as a team. ECLOT still pick up 2 rifles, but nothing else will be offered to them. If anything, Sound might look to take away one of the Deagles. Nice shot, that's crispy. Mikey gets away with 19 HP and an MP9. I'm not... I think, yeah, he will be able to save. Just sticking around for some exits. Nothing there. 10th will be on the board for Nexus, and for ECLOT now, you have the cash, and that cash will be there for 1 or 2 good rounds. This would be where you start making the comeback, because otherwise, even with Nexus having a bit of a poor performance on T, they're still just miles ahead at this point.
Yeah, and ECLOT need to show us why they picked this map as well. So far, an unconvincing T side, and obviously their CT side's been shattered. They don't have as much wiggle room on the defense as maybe they would have liked. Obviously, 7-5 compared to 8-4 doesn't feel like a big difference, but it can be functionally. And so it just frustrates things when you end up losing a round.
But it's just like they've had like 1 rifle round. Like it's
right,
a little bit unlucky, right? That first half 84 certainly, as you said, changed things. And now Zello, well, that changes things as well. Gets the frag. Mikey looking for the double, but BTN there to shut him down. Ooh, 4C, man. Just avoid him. Like, your game plan, if you're Nexus at this point, should just be, alright, let's avoid 4C. That's easy.
Yeah.
Easy, Katka.
Well, man doesn't miss. Now, he might be gotten the better of here, especially as that barrel's spotted. Oh, yeah. Sound's going to take him out, and that'll be a free A-site plant. Mangus and Detour.
That's the only way how you can deal with him.
Over. Yeah.
Cowards.
Find a flank. Find a flank. Go where he's not looking. If you're on his screen, he's probably going to op you. Another way, though, if you think about it, especially, I don't know how Detour and Mangus are still thinking about this one, but that does not end up very well. He's got to get the hell out of there. He's going to get toasted
he's
like
going
an
for
Angus.
it, man.
No way.
He's the new boy on the team. Looking to, well, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I wasn't really expecting much, but a comical way to close things out after.
In my heart, I believe.
Listen, I mean, Mangus is the kind of name that as a caster you dread having this shout from the top of the heavens, you know, like not as bad as, you know, Nut or Kinky, like some of the other players.
I have sparkling water in the country that I live that's the same name, so
there you go.
A little bit.
You're just talking. You're really excited about the water, about the drink.
Yeah, but the minerals in it, the all natural spring water minerals.
Need those. And apparently, ECLOT need.
Oh, that was a 1-tap.
Some round wins. Yeah, that's it. Lonks only needed 1 bullet.
Damn. Well, this one seems over. I guess
the map
Nexus
as well, right? This is going to be 12,
demo.
so yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't see how this is a comeback. I guess they watched that demo yesterday, because yesterday they got 2 rounds and 10 played on this T side. Today, well, they're just stomping ECLOT. Yeah, honestly, that's where Nexus, I think, will have a pretty big advantage today, because they literally got to, I hope they got to, by the way how they're playing, they did, watch the demos and, you know, just analyze what went wrong, and so they're actually the ones who are anti-stratting in the lead in a
Yes.
sense, right? Because ECLOT are probably still playing with how they played yesterday, and Nexus have now built a tower on top of it. So I think in that sense they're doing very well. Again, this is ECLOT's map pick, so you're kind of expecting them to close this out in, well, either their map pick or Dust 2, which I'm again hoping for. I really want to see that third map.
For sure, yeah. I think it's inarguable that a Dust 2 between these two teams with how they've been playing Ancient, when they're both firing, when they're both actually awake for the gunfights, it's very entertaining Counter-Strike. It's very eclectic. You just get a lot of chaos. Nexus trying to throw that wrench in now to close us out. Mangus,
Damn.
it'll be good for one, but they are just getting annihilated. And right now, Dynamo ECLOT need to be a little bit more dynamic. Mikey trying to charge through the smoke, and I guess he's on the site. He's adding confusion, but he's not good enough for the shot. Nubik, 1-on-4, MP9, no chance, no how. This is going to be 13-6 in favor of Nexus, stealing away their opponent's map pick of Ancient as if it was their own, which is one of the reasons why I was so confused.
Yeah, again, if I had to guess, I would have went with Nexus here with the map pick. Not exactly what we expected. We expected a really close matchup. We expected two teams just fighting it out. Kind of starts that way, but Nexus just find a wave of fortune and just surf it all the way through. So a 13-6 start, looking good, looking really solid. Again, I think we're both kind of hoping for that map number 3, but it could be just a quick best of 3 for today. Next up will be Anubis. That is a pick by Nexus. Yesterday it went to overtime, actually double overtime. So we'll see how it is today as we're going on a pause and returning with Anubis.
Welcome back to our best of 3. In today's match in Galaxy Battle Phase 2, we are going to be taking a look at beautiful Anubis, sunny Anubis. It is going to be, of course, Nexus's map pick, and they're already up 1-0, having stolen away Ancient. And really, stolen feels like not strong enough word for how dominant their performance was. Can they maintain that form going into map 2?
Yeah, I think that's a big question on everyone's mind. Yesterday they maintained bad form, so let's see if today they can maintain a good one. Now, actually, to be honest, like Anubis yesterday was really close, right? Like double overtime is pretty much dictionary explanation of a very close CS game. So even though it's going to be Nexus's pick, which in theory should, give them even more advantage, I do think that ECLOT are going to be playing more like they did in the first half in Ancient and less like they did in the second half. And they actually get to start on that T side, so this is a pretty big bonus, because I think that's also a reason why a lot of teams don't pick Anubis. If they have like 2 or 3 good maps, Anubis is one of them. Like, if you're going to pick Anubis, you're always going to have to play 12 rounds where you feel like whatever you do is not working, and you scrape by, you get 4, you're like, okay, now it's time for a comeback. So I think ECLOT's still given a really good chance to start off strong. Braga, though, with the dualies. Aim takes some time, but Mangus is going to get one. Damn, the aim is just not there right now. Sound gets such an easy double. The third. Dude, what are these pistol rounds? And this one, well, yeah, we can
factories, see. Twist. That's what they are. Yeah. They are highlight factories. Headshots galore. I mean, these dualies, first shot, obviously good from Braga, but the fact that Sound gets these 2 sprays and then just one taps Detour immediately on the ground. Rough stuff there for ECLOT. That's going to be yet another pistol round they've lost. They're 2 for 1 so far in the series. And, when you're on the T side, when you're down your own map pick, and you're going on to Anubis, this is where you need to start doing your best work. So they are going to force up. That is the ECLOT way. Let's see if they can find any success.
Yeah, this would be the time to do it. You don't want to start 0 to 3. You give 3 CD rounds early. Nexus, if they can get up to 6 here in the first half, I mean, that would already feel like the job is more than halfway done. So, a crucial round. You gotta get at least the bomb plant down. You've invested a lot of money into what was not even a bomb plant after the first, so we'll see. BTN long range with the MP9. This is going to be a difficult spray down. He spots them and is just playing on the molly now. Actually reconsiders, but there's a lot on the other side. Let's hope it's not too much than what he bargained for. Mikey isolates himself, gives away an easy pick, but BTN actually wants to over-aggress. That's a nice flash as well. The team play is there for Nexus, and now he just wants to hunt down that low player of Mikey, but there's 4 on the other side. He hears them, chooses better, and oh, they're pushing through the smoke, but it does work. The flash is crazy. NBQ Detour on 4C with the drive-by pistols get themselves on the way to the bomb plant. A 2v3, and Raga wants to go quick, but that's a refrag from Mangus, and now Sound shoots.
No way.
Shows his position. Mangus in the 1v1, and Sound does not know where he is. Wow. Again, a nail biter. Dude, we've had a lot of fun on the first half of Ancient. Second one was really dominant by Nexus, but this is exactly what we came to expect from that first half of Ancient, and now heading into Anubis.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it seems like if ECLOT are on the T side, they are going to do crazy things. And that is apparently going to continue into this map of Anubis. We are already seeing some highlights out of not only the pistol, but also those eclectic back and forth matches. Now, of course, with the CTs getting reset on the second round, it kind of bodes ill for Nexus's chances here. They're going to go for the 5.7s and the Scout. Sound has already had a nice round with the pistols, but with the artillery strike taking Zello out of the picture, as much as they're swarming that canal position, it doesn't quite look like this is going to work out in favor of Nexus. They're smoked off in dark. Lonks is trying to make his way through Temple. Not going to be able to get too much onto the bomb planter. He has at least done damage towards jail. Forzy needs to fire off, and now he's the last man standing in a 1-on-3 would be. He's already found 2. BTN through the smoke, desperately spraying. He'll find him at the last second, and there you have it. The action does not stop.
It doesn't, but it's very overwhelmingly in the side of Nexus in terms of close round endings. I feel like ECLOT kind of gave it away, right? Like, as you said, it did feel like the round was over with them being smoked off on Connector, 5-7 and whatnot in the mix. I don't know how they punched their way back. We've had a lot of these question mark moments before, but ECLOT, that's not a round you should be losing, especially after they won that second round. It felt like they're back in the game. Well, guess what? They're going to be on their last dollars here, and Nexus are now looking to start 4-1. Like, that's not much better than that 3-0.
Right, yeah, especially since there's no guarantee you get bomb plants between then and now. If ECLOT do get them, even if they lose the round, they can more comfortably buy into the next, perhaps. But it would be a force, as per usual, and that is kind of what we see out of ECLOT. A little bit of an unfortunate smoke outside B main, but whether it has too much impact, yet to be decided. Nobody's there to watch it. Instead, Lonks is burrowed into the back of A site, and BTN waiting for Mikey to show himself. A little bit of nade pressure, but it's just one man's utility set. Bomb still lingering towards A. They are pushing in. Lonks, it's up to you, my friend. How much can you delay? Mikey's found BTN elsewhere. Of course, the force buy looking good here for ECLOT. That's where they know. That's how they know how to play. And Forzy is going to be able to double up. Finally traded by Raga. This is now a 2-on-3, but Forzy's kind of alone. Yeah, isolated. That's the bomb down. All right. Mikey, what can you do for us here? What can you do for us here? Apparently not much. It's just Detour. How does this always happen? 1-on-2. Let's see if he can make something happen. At least it's slow. At least he can piece things together. But it looks like Nexus, they've lost track of the bomb.
They've given it away because they expected him long, but yeah, it does mean that he's literally given the chance to plant. He came from cameras, so he knows that they have to be long. So with the bomb now going down, it's a little bit weird. Wait, they're...
Okay, no, okay.
They figured it out now. They've figured it out. And Dieter is like, where the hell are they coming from? Like, he's not going to be expecting long soon. I don't think so. Yeah, you got to worry about camera, about heaven. Now, the footsteps will be made, so we're good in that regard. Dieter's position should be expected as well. He wants to isolate. A gun duel gets the first, and now he should not peek, but he still gets away with both. Wants to go aggressive, wants to prove himself with the FAMAS. Feels like now is better time than later, and with that mentality, he will get the second round on the board. Good stuff.
Yeah, okay, neck and neck game. It has looked so chaotic, so eclectic, impossible to call some of these rounds. And when you think of a 1v2 with a FAMAS, you definitely don't think that's going to go your way. But Detour showing us what he's made of.
I feel like Nexus as well, like that was a round they could have played better. Yeah. That's always the case, but in this situation there were just one too many mistakes. And yeah, now ECLOT, I feel like are gonna struggle a little bit against pistols again, because there's a cheeky boost, and I think that's a free kill. It is good refrag though. Mangus gets one. All right, they're proving me wrong. Zello still has the M4 though, but that's the only thing in this round. Still capable of really ripping the players apart of multi-frag potential. Only one though. And then BQ finishes the job with the Mac 10. That's 1.2k extra just for the kills. ECLOT starting to deck out their economy and winning, well, taking the lead on T side. Like, that's a big first step, right?
Yeah, it's so funny that we're talking about the Dynamo ECLOT T side as if, like, you know, oh wow, they've really done a great job. And, you know, they have. Controlling this chaos is hard. But normally, you think about this, Anubis, you're supposed to be in the lead on T side. That's actually supposed to be what happens. And so it's credit to Nexus that they've made it such a struggle. At this point, it should be a clean sweep. They'll stack A. If Dynamo ECLOT are able to sniff that out and avoid it, they'll just go ahead and plant B and maybe farm up those exits. They do still have a Mac 10 onto Mikey, so he can be the one to explore the bomb site. Mangus could get overwhelmed here. He's calming over instead of being super watchful. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, he's going to get overwhelmed. Good for only one. Immediate AK retrieval. But they are just going to link her on into A, so it's kind of funny. It's a funny way to win the round at the end of it all.
You're saying win. I saw the AK retrieved. I was like, you know what, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Maybe there's a way how they literally walk into danger, but no, it seems to be covered up quite nicely. Raga will get to save the AK, and ECLOT will get to put 4 on the board, and at this point it does start to feel a lot better in terms of the potential of third map, really. We're still early on. Again, gotta remind everyone, yesterday this went to double overtime. Still with the Mangus stand-in. I believe he is a stand-in because it shows he's still on his old team. Ghouls W, currently ranked 243rd in the world. So, honestly, yesterday he was the second top fragger in the matchup. Today, he didn't do the best on Ancient, but seems to have woken up on Anubis. Like, that is a really good performance from somebody who's theoretically playing in one tier below or two below the current level.
Yeah.
1.2 rating in the last 3 months. That's a lot of rating. Although he has only played 7 official matches. Young Mangus here.
Yeah, small sample size. We'll see if he can maintain that form. Would be phenomenal for ECLOT. Get some nice little firepower bonus. I've been struggling a little bit in that department sometimes, so we'll see if they can change their story. But I think a bigger issue is that their calling is going to be affected by the quick stand-in here, so it makes plenty of sense. Yeah, we haven't seen a single tactical timeout, right, out of ECLOT. It's only been a couple out of Nexus on an Ancient, so it might also be kind of factoring in there, where their strategic layer is going to take a hit. Ooh, well, maybe it doesn't matter. Mangus is going to go ahead and open things up, just as we were talking about him. There's 4 Ts in mid, trying to wrap towards camera. They need to clear BTN first, and Sound. Sound is the real menace here, still alive after getting 2. Raga now starting to apply pressure from water. This is very dangerous. Zello pushing up from camera. Horzy, you need to be very, very good on the refrag here, and he is, but he's dinked so low. Only Sound and Raga left to try to contest this, but the HP is basically non-existent for ECLOT.
And this is one of the easiest bomb sites to retake, in my opinion, in all of the competitive map pool. So the smoke will certainly help, but it does feel like, you know, they're just gonna crunch at one point, and it's going to be difficult to deal with. Force's play actually would be doing exactly this, staying in the smoke and going through it, because he needs to play smart here. And, well, I guess he's listening. As soon as the smoke fades, it should be a free kill on Raga, who's spotted, taken down, beautiful play, and now you just draw out the time. You just draw out the time as much as possible. A lot of it has already ticked away. Sound, well, simply nothing he can do. That's a really good play from Forzy. And Mangus to finish the business. Beautiful, ECLOT. Not a single HP loss there. Could not lose it. Could not afford.
Yeah, they barely had 1 HP to work with the state of their players. So very nice there. And yeah, I think maybe Sound might be kicking himself a little bit that he didn't try to refrag Zello in that sort of 1-on-2 in mid that Zello had taken. Was it a potential opportunity, but the utility was a little bit too demanding. the respect gained. Dynamo ECLOT now up by 3 rounds. As we get into round number 8, we have Deagles and P250, 5.7s for Nexus. So the upgraded sidearms are going to be the business. And this hasn't actually worked out too well for Nexus, bar that one weird round where it came down to a 1-on-2. And that was, of course, with scouts and 5.7s galore. A little bit of a cute set piece that Nexus had up their sleeve. And Dynamo ECLOT looked very good to get a 6th.
They should. They've had a really good recovery, right? You lose the pistol. They lost that 3rd round, which is kind of nasty as well, since they lost to a low bite. Other than that, have looked solid. Right? We talk about Anubis being very T-sided. It is. But with the way how things are looking, they can get up to, let's say, 9 here to close out the half. I think that's a scoreline that's still very easy to close out on that CT side. Yesterday, these two teams faced each other. Same map pool rotation, same order, same everything, except for the fact that the victors were switched on Ancient. And on Anubis was a 6-6 first half and a 6-6 second half, which is maybe a little bit unprecedented. We'll see if that is true today as well, as ECLOT have arrived on 6 and really have a chance to prove themselves even better.
It feels to me like, especially with their keeping 5 alive in that last round, Dynamo ECLOT are kind of back into the cruise control. So it's up to Nexus to really frustrate that approach. And now Zello's on the off. So this is an opportunity for Sniper to apply his trade. Going to be moving in for a B pick. Oh, he could easily get overwhelmed here. At least go put some good damage and escapes with his life. Very important there. It cuts opportunity for ECLOT to be so confident moving in with their usual trading spacing. See how Rugga can fare in this middle position as well. That's a really big spot here for him to already be dropped down to about half. So instead, not going to really be challenged here. That's usually Mikey's domain. He is going to be moving back and forth, but he's postured in such a way that he can deal with that. Now, this is a dirty setup. Lonks and BTN. Oh, BTN especially making that noise. Somehow they're ready for it, but it doesn't matter.
Wow.
Clotheslining every single one. Oh, God, it's just Mikey. 1-on-5. All right, I can firmly say the car has crashed at this point. It's not just cruise control. You have to change your lane. No, this is a head-on collision. Nexus just tearing him up here in round 9.
Yeah, I think they figured out they need to approach this game differently, because what they did was not working. That's okay, just switch it up, and that's exactly what they do. Now, Longs did get a 4-piece here, so, you know, that might be a factor. But I do like that they've sent Longs to even be in that position to get that frag. Getting quite aggressive on the CT side.
That was that's a really rough 4K to piece together, you know what I mean? It's not like they weren't checking the angle. They were looking at him as they exit because they know that there's a possibility for that play. Probably something that Nexus enjoy doing anyway, so maybe a bit of anti-stratting. And he still domes them. Like, clinical stuff from Long. So can't sing his praises enough for that round. And, well, another bye for ECLOT, but their money is starting to run a little bit dry. If they don't get a bomb plan here, they might be compromised. And, oh, well, talk about that. Nice little meaty HE to start proceedings off here in favor of Nexus.
MBQ announces his presence with a loud headshot. A side should be open, but we're over-aggressing a little bit. MBQ literally saved by the smoke. Mikey takes them down, so, you know, fire from all directions. BTN now burns in the molly. So much util, which is unprecedented for these teams, but still a lot of good aim fights coming through as well. 3v3, Nexus looking for the retake. They have the cash to bind the next, so they're fully attempting this. But Sound kind of isolated, and now shot should have been connected by Raga there. 1v2 seems impossible, and it is, as Zillow goes down. That's a round where Nexus could have won it. I don't want to say Raga had to get the double there, but he certainly had the backstab going.
Well, he absolutely could have gotten the double. The problem is he whiffed the shot on the offer, and then he won the duel against the rifler, but Forzy just flicks onto him. Real hard shot to hit, honestly, under pressure. So props to the opper from Dynamo ECLOT for making that happen. And yeah, these bloody rounds, chaotic rounds, we're looking at 7-3 right now, and we have 2 more rounds to play. So really, this could actually be a 9-3 half that's going the way of ECLOT. They need to speed bump him yet again. And this is going to be a play with pace towards the A site. Lonks, well, he's at the very least, with his utility, forced ECLOT to respect them. Bomb has not been retrieved yet towards Carpet, and we've got plenty more action setting up here in this underwater position, so to speak. Now we have actually got rotations in as well, so A is going to have 3 defenders ready to go, but they have given up a lot of control towards A main, so feels a little bit rough here if the long hit is going to be unperturbed for so much of it.
Yeah, ECLOT tried to slow things down a little bit. I think they're still expecting Nexus to kind of be pushed up, because that's how you have to play on Anubis CD side, exactly like this. Calculated aggression and sound. Well, he has found himself an opening, so that's a backstab coming in. And the meanwhile, Zello is holding down the front line and hitting the shots as well. There's help in the form of M4. Zello should have hit the shot, but no problem. Lonks and Zello are there, man. That's a clean round. A really clean one.
Oh, no.
From Nexus here. Should be 2v5, surely not, right? Because there's a backstab. Detour still gets it. Now they know about the side player as well. And the backstab, where's the backstab? No. The backstab is so far gone, they're now clearing him. That's a 2v5 turned into a 1v1, and Detour just wants to get away. The smoke will facilitate that. He's already on B site, and Sound is just like, well, I probably should have been quicker there. I know he wanted to check all angles, but in the meanwhile, just the rest of his team was dying on that A side, and surely you could have given over the info, hey, there's 2A. You can rush now, right? There's no reason to shift anymore. It does feel like a round where Nexus are almost giving it away, but there's still a possibility to win. Detour is tagged up rather, so just one headshot needed down. Make noise. Oh no, Detour! What are we doing? He shot out of pure reaction. Out of pure reaction, he shot, but that just gave it all the way to Sam. What a weird ending to this round, man. Damn.
I know, yeah. It's like you get all the way up. You're about to finish the job. You know, you've done everything right in this performance of yours, and then at the very end, you just trip over a rock, and that's the end of it. Curtains for Detour, not able to finish the job. Really, really heroic play out of him on the site, and great play from Forzy as well. Some of these frags were so impeccable. The fact that he does end up getting bopped by Sound at the end is no discredit towards his ability. Only so much you can do as the sniper, and he did a lot. Really crowbarring ECLOT into a winning position from a 2-on-5, as you mentioned. So, yeah, difficult stuff. Difficult stuff for Nexus to handle. And Lonks is going to start proceedings off phenomenally. He will be traded out by Mangus. Okay, 2-piece for each. And now a 3-on-3. That tends to favor the T's, but this is so quick. Maybe it's going to be some time. Zello flying up will descend to the water position, and that kind of gives the game away. They know it's going to be a B piece here, surely. Good utility to blind Sound, but nobody's there behind it. So Mikey and Mangus just trying to work the angles here. It doesn't look winnable here for ECLOT. Everybody's here from the defense. They'd have to hit some miraculous shots.
What?
Okay.
Who hits what? I don't know. Mangus somehow has gotten away with 2. Tries to go for another wall bang. As he gets away, picks up the AK, will be run down. It was a nice idea, but kind of had to hit that third op shot. It's okay, though. There's still time. ECLOT, though, by losing those last 2, they actually change a lot of things, right? Because 9-3 is still good for T-side Anubis. I'd say better than average. 8-4, in my opinion, is average. Like, 8-4 should become an overtime, right? But now 7-5, I think Nexus have an edge, especially if they can win pistol, right? At that point, that's an equal scoreboard and you on the way easier side. So I think ECLOT's job here is just to lock down the pistol.
Definitely feels like a lot riding on this pistol in the second half. When you factor in how Dynamo ECLOT have struggled on the defense on Ancient, how much of that is also going to be present here? It's always a tough thing to predict, but for sure, it does feel like Mangus has woken up. He had some very powerful moves there in the late game. The miraculous wallbang headshot onto Zello comes to mind right before his untimely demise. And if he had swapped back to the AK in time, and maybe he could have made something out of that. But as of right now, Dynamo ECLOT going to be on the CT side. And just because Nexus can't stop spinning their knives, I am going to root for ECLOT to win.
You're not a fan of the ADHD, just constantly spamming Z or F and reload.
Well, if it didn't make sound, it would be fine. You can do the flashy movements.
I think the sound is the best part. That's, I think, where you're wrong, my friend. The sound is. I think there's a difference
when
between
I'm
you
controlling
doing
it,
and
it's
somebody
fine.
else
When,
doing it.
when
Yeah,
the players
exactly,
are becoming a cacophony
well, that's
of
why
knife
he's doing
sounds
it.
and spawn. Yeah. Specifically because he doesn't
The
like me.
solution is to
We'll
go
see.
pro.
That's right. I'll frag him myself. Detour has already been taken out, but Nubik has got a very comfortable position here in dark. Gonna be a two-man push, and there's actually got two more coming in from the spawn, but there's so much damage put down range. It feels like it's still a winnable round for either side, and maybe the longer this goes on, you start to favor those keys. You're so wounded. But Mikey, Mikey, he's doing the spin, he's doing the reload, he still found it. Raga, you got 3 health. It's enough. Nexus win the pistol. That's 3 out of 4 so far in the series, and that is exactly what Dynamo ECLOT needed to avoid. They might be in the lead by 1, but make no mistake, this is a heavy advantage for Nexus.
Yeah, we get our first disgusting pistol round. That was bad. it's all right. You get some of these sprinkled in. You know, that's just part and parcel of playing for every day, I guess. But yeah, God, not even much to say. I feel like both teams could have won it easily. Comes down to a very weird, painful, if you will, engagement. But no problems for the time being. On the side of Nexus, as now they've approached equalizing the scoreline and possibly even taken an easy 8th. They just have to get past this force buy, which is very conveniently located on the safe side. Still good aim, BTN there with a triple MAC-10, and I mean, not much you can do with a stack if the aim is not on your side, and it does feel like that is the one thing where Nexus have ECLOT beat clearly in this matchup, like the big difference, right, between these two today.
Yes.
It's just that they're able to win, I'd say 60%, 65% of the gun duels, and it just makes it really difficult for ECLOT. So I think fixing this is something it's difficult to do in the moment, but like that's actually what you have to change if you want to keep yourself in the game.
Yeah, I think this is one area where you're really missing eLive's contributions as well. The IGL captain of Dynamo ECLOT, who has been the stand-in here, of course, is Mangus. And you can talk about, okay, the aim is, obviously going to be an upgrade from Mangus to eLive. eLive not known for his scintillating fragging, but definitely a situation that I think would help him, would help his team, is not being so predictable from the second round, right? They win the first showing against Nexus with this lineup, with this new look, with Mangus standing in. But as soon as that happens, right, like, where's the reinvention? Where are the adaptations? Not really able to do so to the same degree. We have no tactical timeouts. We have no, real changes of the guard, especially on that T side, on Ancient, where it's always such a struggle for them, apparently, in that second round. And I think Nexus are able to, obviously adapt their game plan, change it up. We saw it live on Ancient to give them the win. I think maybe that's one of the reasons why ECLOT feels so uncomfortable, is because they're not really able to pivot in the same way strategically as they would have been had they had their full lineup.
Well, that did not stop them yesterday, which was a 2-0 affair, for those wondering, going the way of ECLOT. But yeah, I think that's another big point, right, that we touched on Ancient, is the fact that Nexus, because they lost, they're actually now ahead because they've been able to do their homework, and, well, there was nothing assigned to ECLOT. They did well. So even though they just played yesterday, I feel like from ECLOT's POV, it feels like they're playing a different team because, Nexus certainly have switched up a lot of things.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh.
Nubik wants a little bit of action here, but the flash is enough to push him away. ETN kind of playing with his food there. Made a bit of a dog's dinner. We'll see if he can get any action over here in dark. There's a lot of CTs waiting for him, and yeah, he's going to get run down, but it's only a MAC-10 offered up, so not really the biggest of frags, especially with Sound watching for more rotations. This will be a nice and easy 8th round for Nexus, as we predicted in the previous, defeating the Force Buy so handily, so steadily. makes your life a hell of a lot easier. And look at that, Long's coming in with a flashbang. It's clinical. Mangus is the flying Angus, is not going to be able to get more than one. And that will be fairly clean, all things considered. Nexus happy with the bomb plant. They're going to chain together their eco, and there will be a rifle round for ECLOT to see if they can change our minds about their less favored side of Anubis.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't look like it's over, right? It's 7-8, but it feels like it's over. This was a 5-2 start for ECLOT, and because they were not able to finish off how they wanted in the first half, right? That kind of piles up. And ultimately, now they're the ones who have to play really well, because you're at a round disadvantage on the CT side, and now there's plenty of rounds still to be played, which just means you're not going to be getting away with like one gimmick play of pushing up or flashing somebody in like this. We actually have to see really good CT defaults, good rotations. They have to beat out Nexus multiple times here. Longs blows open the smoke. They're looking for a double. NBQ good for one, but only the one, and there's nobody else really to help. That's that problem with Anubis, right? That's why it's so T-sided. If you don't have really swift rotations, really good awareness, then a lot of times two players go down, it's a save. Seems to be the case here as well. They're just too far away.
Yeah. The calculated aggression you spoke of when Nexus were on the CT side seems to be absent from ECLOT so far. And of course, it's early days in theory because this is their first gun round on this defensive side of the map. As the save is confirmed, with the player going down from Nexus, it's going to be a nice and easy 9th round for them. But of course, they could get bowled over here if they're not careful. We're talking about ECLOT obviously having the save here, invest around their 2A1Ss and their op, and show us something with the limited rounds they still have left. Nexus just need 4 now, and that's surprisingly easy to do if you're fragging out as well as they are.
I guess I am that fast game charm. Well, there's 4 best of 3s now in a row. I haven't seen double digits once. I think the best I've seen was 8. 8 rounds is the number to beat here for ECLOT. Again, it feels like it's over. At least they get to save 3 rifles, so they actually have enough cash to go for another full-on buy. I think the reason why they don't go for the push in the first rifle round is just because they're still kind of scoping things out. You just like that's a bigger gamble than just playing it safe. There's the push, and there's the initial frag for ECLOT. So it's a really good start. Now, they have to figure out how to convert with that player advantage. I think your best call would just stack 2A, 2B, right? Don't get too aggressive anymore and have that mid player on a quick rotation. Talking about it, it's NBQ. And, well, Vitor, where he got 1, NBQ is now in his place to get the second. There's 4 damage in total delta on ECLOT, so this looks like a round where yeah, if they don't want this, you know, it's over. But it will be Mikey to shut another one down. All right, we see some strength. We see some power. Hopefully that inspires them for more.
Yeah, good to see signs of life. Second rifle round. Second time's the charm. Recover some AKs. They'll see if they can clean Lonks and Raga out as well. Without losing a member, that would be phenomenal. Detour, oh, what a clinic he's put on this round. And Mikey will close things out. AKs
That's
for
such
everybody.
A weird round. Yeah, they have the royal flush in terms of the buy, and then on top of that, the T's deal 4 total damage on a single player in that round. Yeah, I guess it just all kind of goes their way. Looking solid. And now it would be amazing for them to convert another, because it feels like if they want to be back in the driver's seat, right, like they got to get up to 10 here and then still play well. Like Nexus, don't get me wrong, Nexus are still very much in the lead here, just in terms of how kind of the power struggle goes on these T and CD sides. So, yeah, this would be an amazing round to win for ECLOT, and Nexus are having a look around with the boost, but I feel like this one got old about 3 months ago.
Right, yeah. Not very many people are going to fall for this, especially after so many games played at this level. You're not expecting that. Now, when we're coming into round 18, things are pretty neck and neck still, and Nexus still have to work for it, right? They've got a Galil out, which is kind of a sign of their times. No bomb plant in the last round and no damage. Yeah. They're really being active here. Yeah, on the site only. It's an interesting play because obviously they've got 2 members fairly active on A, and they're holding for camera pushes, while also Mango's playing anti-flash by himself, a risky proposition. Occasionally watching the smoke for any phasing. But it looks like it'll be a B finish, and there are 3 members here, so looking solid for ECLOT. Let's see what they can do.
This has to be the round. Blowing up the smoke, just pushing in. NBQ with 1, NBQ with 2. The smoke is there. Connector player still gets the frag. Another molly comes in, but Detour has to stay alive or get a frag. Can't do either. And he just has not been having the best of time on that B-side defense. Him going down actually changes things completely here. Now, a little bit unfortunate for ECLOT, but Nexus do make a good recovery. I thought with NBQ's double, things could be close to over. Now, there's a cheeky backstab coming in from Mangus, but like they're so far away. Oh, they peek into it. Longs has completely given it away. ECLOT were looking to save, right? That's why they were holding that long-range angle, and Longs now puts Zello in a 1v2, and he's no stranger to losing these, to winning these, rather. That's one, the second not there. Oh no, that was a prophecy by me. I'm sorry, Zello. I said losing. Well, that's the first time he loses a 1v2. He clutched up 2 amazing ones on Ancient, but this will equalize the scoreboard here. ECLOT feel like, you know, this is just a divine intervention, really. The fact how they get back in the round.
Yeah, I think for sure the biggest issue is the fact that they weren't able to cleanly execute onto that site, right? And so when you're lacking that, and even though you take those initial frags, at that point, okay, 3-on-3 or 3-on-2, however it ends up shaking down, you gotta be cautious. You can't just be like, okay, we're winning, we're gonna bowl them over. It's not always so easy. So first start of the site take, good. But everything else after that does not end up getting a passing grade. And Mikey with the AUG, a gun we rarely see.
Ooh.
And a spot on the map we rarely see it. And, well, maybe that's why. It just gets run down immediately. And now there's the T explosion onto the B-bomb site. And would you look at that, using the gun against them. Detour only good for 1. And this is a 3-on-2 Nexus is forced by that really shouldn't have had so much success. But it turns out they're pretty damn good on the lesser weapons.
And it starts again. Mangus with the first. There's an off from Forza in the retake as well, and he was doing so well on Ancient, so this would be the round to really put yourself forward. An AUG gets 1, but Raga now on for the AUG clutch, on for the AUG 4-piece. The weapon has returned in meta, especially if he can win it out. Smoke comes down. That's smart from Forza. He's going to tap the bomb. Wait for Raga to push out. He's waiting. He's playing on the time, though. Now pushing out. Just needs to delay time, and he has done exactly that. A great play from Raga. Absolutely nothing Forza can do there to defuse quicker. Could have sticked it. Pros never fake, but just felt like Raga, especially with the time given, is going to push him. Very difficult choice to make for both of them, but Forza in this case loses it out. That's unfortunate. And again, that was just the pistols, right? But I love how Nexus played. They hear that AUG towards connector. You can surprise, even in tier 1, you can surprise your opponents a lot when you just find the perfect timing to push through the smoke. A lot of times when you go for the reload or go to pull the pin on the molly, right? You don't think about these small things at times when the tensions are high. So I find a way to take down the AUG, and that same AUG gets a 4-piece in it, putting Nexus on double digits.
And pretty strong stuff, and attack pause out of Nexus, something ECLOT are not familiar with in this series so far. And also worth pointing out here that cool. They're going to be. I think it's they're going to be looking at this with the saved op. Yes. Well, no, I think Nexus did it on Ancient once, but yeah, the ECLOT have not done it throughout the set. The AWP for Forza getting saved over is a really big storyline here for ECLOT. Let's see if they can really write a satisfying end to the tale. We might be in for extra rounds after all with the way these two teams are kind of trading neck and neck, but the rifles are out yet again for Nexus. Hit or miss on those. Much higher conversion rate, funnily enough. Oh no, with the sidearms. Instead, Forza will end up getting dropped, and that is not the storyline you wanted with that saved op.
Not ideal. But again, he has been performing well. Mangus is actually the one really cranking up the dial here, but it still feels like ECLOT, 3 members have been missing on both maps. So this would be the round where the rest of the crew steps up there, not checking it. Then NBQ gets a refrag, and now that's player advantage nullified. Zello timing spots NBQ, but can't hit the shot off. NBQ now stuck between camera And the other through the smoke. When Hitar commits to it, should not have gotten the frag there. Zello still makes it possible for ECLOT to clutch it out as the bomb goes down. They're not ready for heaven. Player Longs picks the perfect timing,
Oh, no.
gets one but only one, and now Detour to do it all out in the open, and he gets the frag. We're down to the wire here, but somehow, some way, the never-ending aggression of Detour reigns supreme. We're going for the op save. There's plenty of time. There's no need to worry. These are pro players we're talking about. That's an op save. I certainly wasn't worried, and the defuse should be coming in.
Yeah, he's got the kit as well, so it gives him a little.
Yeah, it was a lot closer than I thought. But whenever I saw him like starting to go towards mid and commit to it, you know.
He had a little bit of hesitation on his pistol out too after the initial kills, so it felt like maybe he didn't realize that was the last player fragged for a moment, and then somebody radioed it in. We'll have to wait and see which one of these two teams is going to conquer Anubis. Beautiful sunny Anubis. Biggest issue really right now for ECLOT is that they cannot hold back the faster paced plays out of Nexus. They're too crafty with their force buys, and now they're going to be heading towards A for the most part. We'll see how fast they are with it. Mangus already ready to go. His incendiary is going to be the first point of contact there. Already,
just don't lose this one, ECLOT.
Moving towards mid. I know, yeah, that feels like it almost feels like an inevitability looking at the track record here, but easy first frag, second as well for Mangus, and that is going to be a good start to proceedings. Everybody coming in from the same angle. The CTs should be able to easily clean this up, especially as Sound is caught slipping with the A1S equipped. 2 on 3, a little bit closer than he would have liked, but 4Z has the op angled down.
Zello will be on for the 1v3. We've seen some clutches from him today, right? Not on Anubis, but on Ancient he did too. And he will be rotating over, 4Z to hear it, so Detour should be well aware of the possibility. Now, Zello's task here is just to get the bomb down so you get extra cash. They're gonna all be pushing in, but that's a bomb plant. I mean, that's your job done, right? Everything else apart from that does not matter. ECLOT, although it looked like a little bit strugglesome at times, they do, just knowing the history, as you said, you know, they do find a way how to convert the 11. So putting themselves in the lead, which is already a huge recovery, given how this was 8-7 for Nexus, right? Like, one way or another, they found a way how to convert the rounds, have had a lot of good retakes, had that one round where, honestly, Nexus allowed them to come back in the game, right, in the 2v3 where they were already looking to save. So it is commendable how far ECLOT have come, but now I feel like the toughest challenge is yet to come. This round is the one for Nexus to do it.
And we're keeping an eye out on the economy for ECLOT as well. If they lose 2 players, they're very likely to go for a save or a desperate retake. Either one could be bad news for them, as Nexus have mostly all the equipment they need, and they're already starting to infiltrate B. There are plenty of defenders here, and that's a big 2-piece between Mikey and Detour. The MAC-10 has to be the unlikely hero. Raga's already gone down in dark. Another frag for BTN's SMG. Apparently you only need 3 letters in this game, and it's going to be this 2-on-3 position. Nexus are going to try to do what they can. Upgrading to the A1S. Nubik slowly tapping through. So tense. You know, you can tell ECLOT don't want to commit to this, but a minute left on the clock. There's still plenty of time. Some utility.
I think they're just waiting for the plant. I think they're just waiting until Nexus plant, and at that point you have a 1v3 for a stint period of time. So I think that's the idea, right? Like, they have the positions. They know it's going to be B or a very early rotation call here from NBQ. I think they still have a lead here. Obviously, it comes down to the aim here. Oh, Zello is holding it. Feel like he could pop a headshot there. He sees the arm, but it's Mangus. It's the stand-in to do the work. He's, I think, top fragging at this point. Now BTN is the 1v3. Goes for the stick. Mangus catches some utility damage. A 1v3 would be necessary. BTN has to find some 1v1 gunfights. If he stays on site, they're going to crush him, but at the same time, they're waiting out for him to push in. So, yeah, it just comes down to the flash, pushing in, and ECLOT cleaning things up with ease. Again, it's good that Nexus can get the plan down, so they can at least refinance that next round. And this one, it was actually huge, because I think their cash is still going to be looking pretty low. This is do or die for them. 2 rounds in a row needed. ECLOT have found a way how to push this to dust too. If only They can take down this buy. It's a good round, good conversion. Here as well, like the fact that connector players, that Mikey gets a third when he's literally stuck in a corner, sandwiched, low HP, right? All it took was just one bullet with the spam, but I guess some miscommunication. And yeah, I mean, that is a game of margins, very small margins in these last seconds. So, we have 4 Galils, a Mac-10, and an AK. Do you believe?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking for extra rounds here on Nexus' side if they want to close this out 2-0. Oh, and well, Zello is going to use that outdated boost to clear Forzy. Outmoded. Good first frag. Might need all the rounds after all. Might need extra rounds. We'll have to see. It's so tight, and ECLOT have had a lot of momentum on their side after the first 4 that Nexus found on the half, but coming into this, it's still looking a little bit scary. You can't fully believe in Nexus until they actually crack the site. Their conversions went up a man have been phenomenal, though, and Mikey playing in front of the smoke, that might be the little edge that the CTs needed to bring it back into a 4-on-4. Zello's so low. The bomb is going to be going down here. Rotation's already coming in from the connector.
There's 2 connector. This is going to be a big brawl. I'm not sure if they're going to be expecting the second one here. And Mangus gets the frag, looking for the double. Detour gets the refrag. 2v3 now. Sound and Zello to do it all. They planted for long, so they have that going for him. But as we said, Zello is low. There's the flash. They're waiting for the peek in. Zello out in the open. It's a 1v3. Not going to be coming through. ECLOT, they do finish strong here. Thought that Nexus might get themselves back in the game, but instead, it's a 13-10, so finally we get a closer game, and finally I get to watch map number 3. This has been long awaited. Good performance, really good recovery from ECLOT. I don't know, their Anubis CT side is really strong, I guess, because yesterday the same was true. Yeah, this was 8-7 T side for Nexus. I feel like losing that 2v3 where ECLOT already went to save, and I think it was Longs to really give it away, give the entry back, right? I feel like that's really what threw it all, no?
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities that Nexus had to make it through, but Mangus coming in with a big statement, 26 frags to his name, almost every round of regulation required. He is good to go on Anubis, which does bring us to another Dusty map. Dust 2, in fact, will be our decider, and as you mentioned, it'll be a phenomenal time to enjoy a third map for the first time for you here in Galaxy Battle Phase 2. You know, I like the fact that our charms are competing. You've got the fast game charm. I've got the quintuple OT charm. They meet in the middle somewhere, and at the very least, we get a decider. And honestly, with how the fragging has started to wake up on the side of ECLOT, we could very well see a contested third map.
Yeah, I mean, they're the favorites of the series. Before the first map, like I kind of looked at the bookmaker odds, like they were with a slight edge, but in favor. So I feel like coming into Dust, it will be a brawl, that's for sure, but we'll see which team takes the lead. We're going on break and returning with Sand. get what we expected, to be honest. A very chaotic two-map series so far. One where it seems like one team has the upper hand. Oh, it's over. Never mind. The other team now wins 6 rounds in a row. That's how Anubis went. ECLOT find a way how to take down Nexus's map pick. And now they're looking for the reverse sweep. We're going to be heading on to Dust 2. And I think this is the best map to have as a finisher between these two teams.
Yeah, it feels like, you think about the aim, you think about how chaotic things have been, you think about the utility has been used to accentuate that chaos so far, especially on ECLOT's T side, compared to the more tactical stuff that we sometimes see out of Nexus, that we sometimes saw out of ECLOT back when eLive was at the helm. We even did a little bit of digging, found out that indeed, of course, ECLOT are trying to experiment with different roster variations. Turns out maybe not being able to qualify to their hometown event of Prague was a little bit too much for them to handle. They decided to go for a bit of a pivot. And so they've already played with a number of other stand-ins, but now, with Mangus top fragging on his team, for his team on their opponent's map pick, back on Anubis. We are going to be going to Dust 2 for the decider, and we'll have to see if that stand-in can continue to stand out. Nexus versus ECLOT will go the distance, and we get our lovely knife round.
Yeah, I don't think the knife round changes too much on Dust. I'd actually prefer starting T-side on Dust. Maybe that's just how my matchmaking ways go, but it seems better. Forza is on for a clutch already. He's one stab away, so BTN's lower HP doesn't matter. He has kind of cheekily gotten away here with being stabbed twice. So certainly Lady Luck smiling now on the side of Nexus, but they're still not able to win it out. So ECLOT will be able to pick the starting side, and we should be good to go as soon as they do. Again, actually, let me check. I normally don't check it because I just don't feel it matters too much. But let me see what are the T and CD side win rates looking like. So yeah, for both teams, this is a 50% above win rate map. For ECLOT, it's a bit better at 62. Seems like for ECLOT, it's 51% CT, 49 T, so pretty much whatever. Both ways works. Ooh, this is interesting. 63% win rate here on the T side for Nexus. That's an interesting statistic to look at, especially knowing how poorly their Anubis T side went, right? Let's hope they fix the issues, or at least that the issues don't translate over to a different map. So ECLOT will be starting T-side. Again, I don't know, I just feel like it's easier to start on an A map with the AKs first. There's a dink on Mangus. He survives. Yeah. I think it could have been so long range that the USP doesn't... I don't know who it was. Maybe it was the dualies. But yeah, that's a bit of a tilter if you don't get the shot here. Anyways, the push towards A. 3 on the other side. Zello finishes off business. Rogi gets a headshot as well. Zello low still gets another, and Zello has just been a menace with the pistols today. Getting a lot of good frags. Hold on. 2v5. We've seen these. Longs. Alright, they shut it down.
Nice and easy, nice and quick. That's another pistol round for Nexus. They won both on Anubis. They won half of them, of course. One of them on Ancient, the first one to open things up in this whole series. And now we get to see a lovely time of them on Dust 2. They're hoping to obviously right the ship, a map that they feel like they should have been able to close on Anubis. They had lots of advantages. So they trade their map picks to get here, and that is always points towards chaos, points towards the unexpected, and a nice little rally from ECLOT at the end. Coming into things for round number 2, it will be a T-Force. We got Deagles, we got a Tech 9, we got a Scout, but they haven't really been able to work any picks and combine for any kills. That's something that you see a lot more often on Mirage. You think about the mid setups that you can do with this kind of build. It's a very, very nice composition of weapons to have on a Force. Thinking about CT side in particular, but also on T. You come to Dust 2, it's a little bit harder if your opponents play more passive angles, don't really give you anything to work with. And that's exactly how Nexus are playing this one. Just slowing things down, feeling things out, but no utility really left here for the defense, and we've got about a minute on the clock. So ECLOT are content to play this sort of slow style on the T side, feel out exactly where their opponents are, and then they'll have their opportunities. Eventually, you have to face them.
Yeah, I feel like they're a little bit scared here. Maybe on the other side of things, like there's no foul and waiting for Nexus to push, right? Like once you go for the execute, that's still gonna take less than 30, I hope. So, well, they've waited out their time. Nexus are not looking to make a mistake. So it will have to be the ECLOT side pushing out. Good smoke. MP9 on the other side. Good for 2. Sounds 2 is crucial there. Because now Nexus still have the player advantage.
Oh.
Or... Alright. Perfect timing for Detour Force. He gets one with a Deagle. Hold on. It's Raga and Zello left. Just up against pistols. What seemed to be an easy round has again turned into a massacre towards mid and B. And Detour's Deagle is still in the picture to wreak more havoc. In the meanwhile, we have Mangus kind of forcing out the fights. This is still a good setup. They jump in. Oh, it's overwhelming. Detour with the frag. Zello with the refrag. They know about Mangus and Zello. Man, he just can't stop with these 1v2 clutches. That's his 3rd out of 4 attempted.
Yeah, pretty incredible little win rate statistic there for you. Nexus finding a way. And really nice, the fact that Raga held on to his flashbang that whole game. He at the very least forced Mangus in car to consider his options there. And that was not going to work out too well with the constant moving back and forth. It was messy. It was chaotic. It was expensive for Nexus. But sometimes getting the round win matters a whole lot more than padding your coffers. They will invest into this round. MP9 and a little bit of concession in terms of utility. Obviously no kits either on the side of the defenders is another storyline where maybe Dynamo ECLOT can use this force buy to get a bomb plant down and make things squirrely. But signs of life from both teams. The only one to post rounds so far is Nexus.
I kind of feel like Nexus has to have a better CT side here. I just did not like what I saw on Anubis. And to be honest, on Ancient, like, their T side was looking good. They were literally just running in and hitting headshots, but I'm just a little bit scared, you know, if we see that bad side again, how capable they are of recovering it. So, I mean, a lot of speculation can be made here, but I will go with 8 is needed here for Nexus to feel comfortable in the second half. Might sound a little bit on the higher end, but again, ECLOT are, although slim, but the projected winners here before the matchup started. Yesterday, these two teams played. ECLOT won 2-0 in the same map pool. Ancient was a breeze for them, and it was double overtime victory on Anubis. So things have certainly changed today, as we talked about. You know, Nexus had the ability to anti-strat. Guess what? They didn't play Dust, so this is still a clean slate. Oh,
yeah.
Flash-in does not work. Oh, no.
Oh, boy. Well, Zello is up for yet another situation, and he's good for the first and a dink onto the second, so he set his team up as best he can. That's a great frag from Sound. Oh, and he's already ready for the long play, but unfortunately for him, Mangus got one better. Look at this self-boost attempt. It's going to be good for the first frag. It's a 1-on-3. Lonks is up against a very low HP player, but the boost. Oh, yes, Nubik is going to be able to fall away with really no health to work with. Still good enough. The angle's too tough, and running out of ammo is just fuel for the fire as Lonks is going to be disappointed in himself. He might have had a chance there. Very hectic round, but when you lose the first 2 entries that fast, that unfortunately, you are going to be in a rough spot to try to clutch out the round afterwards. And there's only so many heroics your players can offer you. Eventually, you do need to lose. Dynamo ECLOT going to be happy with their one round, and they should be able to pivot this into a second, because look at the buy here. Just pistols and an MP9.
I mean, we've seen these work before. We've had some chaotic rounds. I don't think I can remember an eco round or a low buy round that was just like, okay, well that one's an easy lock. Yeah, because look at this timing as well, right? BTN chooses not to pursue, but the rest of the crew is there. I mean, this is just coming down to timing, which can very often catch you off guard. Although for the time being, seems like they've avoided disaster. Timing is bad there, but probably the worst time he could have had. But it's like the best possible place for that to happen, right? If you had to choose one engagement where that happens, you choose that one, because the site has been open, bomb planted. Nexus still are going to be attempting this. No Actually, wait, are they? Like, the cash is really bad next round.
I know, yeah, they're still going for it. Oh, this feels like a big mistake. At least Sound will have an A1S to his name after that pick. I don't know why he's still sticking around here, man. Didn't want his opponents to catch him on the rebound there. Yeah, ill-fated retake attempt. It's the B-bomb site, guys. It has this reputation for a reason. I know some people are thinking of Inferno as a save city. Nobody wants to go for retakes on Inferno, but Dust 2, I think when it's B site and it's even though you might have the man advantage, you're still talking about a situation where you don't have the weaponry. You are not making it in there. Not in. There's not a chance in hell. So Nexus dropping that one without saving any of the weaponry means that they are probably going to drop this one. Charging up middle. They call that position suicide for a reason. Forzy will eventually be bested by the pistols, but look at that. Dunked on. Angus finding some moves, and it's just Zello left to eventually capitulate for Dynamo ECLOT's third round in a row.
All right, well, that's a good way to recover. It has changed in terms of the dynamic for rifle rounds, because Ancient was where I think up until the end of the first half on Anubis, we're talking about, Nexus's individual skill prowess, right? Like they're winning 60-70% of these gunfights. It was ECLOT who had to kind of string on, try to bring in some utility, some more strategical play in place to convert some of these rounds. But that has completely changed, and when the one thing that's like converting you rounds is now being played better by the opposite side, of course it's going to be one-sided. Anubis' second half was, and Dust 2 has gotten off to a good start for ECLOT after that initial pistol loss. Looking clean with the rifle rounds. And another big one is proposed, as this would be a chance to break Nexus' economy, put yourself in a very comfortable 5-2 lead.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the fact that they're not saving in any of these situations, even when it's the B site, even when it's the hardest site in the game, in many people's minds, to actually retake, certainly has not set Nexus up for success. Not doing themselves any favors, but at least there's an opportunity for a little bit of damage downrange. Raga's already been overcome, but Zello on a very quick flank. And if Dynamo ECLOT play their usual slow style, especially with that smoke, somebody's got to start watching for this. All 5 team members are here. Zello could just have his pick of the litter. He's got Sound coming in from behind as well. This is going to be a colossal move if they can get the frags. Nubik was already watching for it, and they're waiting for a second. But how long do they entertain that thought process? Sound reveals himself, but not able to get the pick is starting to get a little bit squirrely here for Nexus.
And they lost a player, but the flashing is good. Draga catches one as well, but that's straight back. NBQ and Forsey pushing back. And now you have 2 on A. You spot longs. There's, I guess slow it down a little bit, right? My initial thought was them just going B. Well, now you certainly do. Now you spotted Sound. There's absolutely no reason to linger around and fight him. Don't give him 1v1 gunfights. 2 players are spotted there by Sound. And now he at least has the informational advantage in a sense, right? He's actually going to be walking back towards short, but I don't know. I think if you're ECLOT, you just got to wait this one out and, give Sound the possibility to respect the rotation. At that point, like, it's a gamble for both of you.
Only 20 seconds left on the clock. Nubik is going to be leading the charge. Low HP, bomb in his back, and the 2-man spray down from Sound is going to be more than enough to finish the job there. Nexus
ECLOT
finding repose.
That's a really poor round
3
to
for
lose.
3. I know, yeah, tragic there for ECLOT. They really should not have dropped this one, and especially after how things started. But it is a little bit awkward when you don't have any map control. All of the CTs, no matter how many man advantages you've got on the T side, they can all look to the same spot. And their spacing wasn't the best on that 2-man situation. Makes sense to put the low HP player first, but it's going to be a little bit rough nonetheless. Now, Sound has taken a tag, thanks to good shooting from Forzy. Zello revealing his position with footsteps. That was dangerous, but he's not going to get swung on. It looks like after the initial altercations, we still have a little bit of a line of scrimmage here, with the exception of Raga being very far forward in the A doors. So we'll see how that ferments over time. But good to see Nexus fight back, even though it's bad to see ECLOT lose it in that way.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that changes the momentum a lot because you're feeling fly. You're feeling like, okay, yeah, we're getting better. We're reverse sweeping them, and then a reality check. Detour now catches one off guard. Zello has to go big here, one and get away or a double. He chooses to get away without impact, which is fine. You want to wait for the team,
Oh,
but that team is getting picked off one by one. That's a very unfortunate engagement to lose against Mangus, who's literally on 1 HP. This time, shouting, he's 1 HP, he's 1 HP will actually be true.
yeah.
But I guess that's
For all the
around.
good it does them.
Yeah, two
Yeah,
impact clicks.
that'll do it. That'll do it. Nexus are going to concede this one. Finally saving for the first time in the match. Only took them 7 rounds to figure that maneuver out.
Sometimes it takes a while.
Yeah. That's all right, though. I mean, you mentioned it earlier that their T side tends to be a bit better on their round wins, so as long as they can maintain good form on the CT side and keep things from getting out of hand, Dynamo ECLOT will still have to work for the close when they switch halves. We are going into round number 8, well past the halfway point now. 5 rounds remain to determine who's in the lead, if anybody, because these teams have been pretty neck and neck. Unlikely rounds won by both squads so far. So Lady Luck has yet to choose a champion. Orzi with that AWP is going to be taking a look at anything he can do on the cross. And look at that. Wow. Sound has got some confidence.
Damn.
Taking aim duels against Nubik in the middle. Not going to go anywhere in terms of frags, but nice damage. Kind of conceding the B control so far, actually. They've cheated towards mid a lot. Applying more pressure. Now Lonks is going to reconsider. Only armed with the FAMAS and an HE grenade, so doesn't really have the ability to hold anything here, and he's even going to dispense with that HE kind of early, so yeah, B-bomb site is potentially open for business, but with Nubik already gone down, this 4-on-5 does not look super good for ECLOT. They don't really have good info.
No, their strategy has so far been to just kind of wait it out, let Nexus over-aggress over peak. Dust is not exactly a map where you have to do that, and I think Nexus have learned not to. But I think that's totally fine, right? You have a minute to waste in CS, that's just the way how the rounds are structured, and then when you go for the push, you're expected to hit the shots. Zello is in just a nasty position to be in, really, right? That's a really good angle to be holding alone. You certainly have the advantage. Yeah, that's a thing, by the way. You can always stand in the open between the nade, between the molly and the smoke now, and you can see the players be in safety zone. Oh my, what? The Magus just 180 flick, insta headshot through the smoke. That has to be one of the luckiest shots. I don't know, Wander, who do we have it today as the observer? Can we get that replay? Is that possible?
Yeah, that's phenomenal stuff if it ends up happening. Yeah, no, we only saw the aftermath, but Lonx's 3K is still pretty good here to look at as a consolation. Yeah, with the FAMAS, no less. I was down-talking that gun earlier, but turns out, yeah, some nice shots from Mangus, but Nexus still go for the 4th, and it's rifle rounds for a while now, but eventually that money's going to run dry for one of these two teams. They're kind of both facing resets here. Got to watch out for the outcome. Nexus lose 2 players. They're going to consider a save. ECLOT don't get a bomb plant. They are going to be in the dumps.
Yeah, they do need it. Has been really slow so far. Like, we kind of expected the, I believe the word banger was used of a finisher. But I guess it's close.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we have going for us. And it does lead to exciting, like, late rounds, but the mid rounds have been just really dry. Mainly due to ECLOT's want to wait for the pushes from Nexus, and Nexus just don't want to go for it. So this leads to both sides just waiting it out. Oh, we saw the cheats. We saw the cheats there for a second.
Hey, if the observers are doing it, that's fine. They need the cheats. Got to catch all the action. X-ray on. We see everything. Lonks and sound. lurking in the B-bomb site. Oh, but that first frag goes the way of the T's. That could be very impactful.
Oh,
And up and
no.
over, Nubik mantling for the frag. Mangus catching the rotation. Raga and Zello are indeed going to save. So this will be a nice and easy 5th round. And apparently, waiting all that time, you're right, it's dry Counter-Strike, but it's working for now. Bit of a slog for Nexus to deal with as well. I mean, eventually you start getting fatigued, holding the same angles over and over again. No surprise that Detour was able to, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed work his way onto the B-bomb site, clearing window. And just miraculous headshots really all over the place, right? It's nice and well played, well planned, clinical. Might not be the most exciting to watch, but strategically very sound.
Yeah, that second kill was a good example of what Nexus are dealing with right now, right? You know where they're coming from, but then one peeks down low, one has jumped up, you suddenly have, well, 2 players you have to click immediately, and neither one goes your way. Even though it's 5-4, so it seems like a close scoreline, but I don't know, I just feel like ECLOT are way more dominant right now. They've won more rifle rounds, that's for one. I believe the ratio is like 5-2, actually, right?
Yes,
But
yeah. And on top of that, remember, some of the rounds that Nexus won were more on the miraculous side. Round 3 comes to mind. Nexus should not have won that one, but they do at the very end of it. And then even the 2-man spray down at the end where ECLOT had a 2v1. Another option there. Now, Lonks is going to try to take his destiny into his own hands. He manages to get 2. Manga's still active. Got to watch out for that stand-in. Is he going to be watching for Raga? Deep pit. Looks like he is. Is he going to be ready for it? No, he turns tail at the worst possible time. The off angle working wonders for the Romanian. Now we're going to see. 4-on-2. This should surely be a conversion for Nexus.
well, Forzy, oh my god, he catches it. All right, I was all ready for some downtime, ready for some game time, perhaps. Instead, that completely keeps the idea alive. They're going to regroup towards B. Currently, there's only BTN with the FAMAS, so if you get one here, that still should be around. If BTN goes down without a frag, I mean, that's the most difficult bomb site to get into. FAMAS, it's a good position, though. They're not going to be clearing it, so BTN spots the first, finishes the job, and now Forsey, unfortunately, left in a 1v3 with the op. Unable to refrag quickly either. Good molly, but better shots from BTN. It looked promising at one point, but yeah, he has a little bit of chuckle there around that Nexus certainly hope to put in their past. This is a great start from Longs.
Yeah, it's rough because you think about it. That was a very, very strong opening. Raga and Lonks combining for some really nice frags. And now here we are. BTN able to 2-piece it out at the end. Very solid. Very good. Dynamo ECLOT going to have to reconsider their options here. They're down to a scout for Forzy and 4 AKs around it. So not really what they would like to have here, but nonetheless... pushing towards tunnels. This is an engagement we haven't seen too much of. It's Detour and Mikey against Sound, who is going to be good for the first and is able to take the head off of the second. Nice work there. Once again, a 2-piece opener here in favor of Nexus. And, well, they are being aggressive towards mid. Sound gets traded. Lonks continues to press the advantage. It's a 2-on-4. We've seen this plenty of times now. This is a repeat of the last round. Different circumstances. Mangus is going to be right on top. Oh, he doesn't end up checking. He doesn't check Lonks, and now it's just BTN, who is aware of Mangus's position, but it's not good enough. Stand-in, standing out, and will Lonks catch Forzy? No! The answer is no. 2v2.
Low HPs, though, 50 seconds to work with, but Zello is arriving quickly with the op. Nade is huge! It's gonna catch Forzy off guard, so no bomb plant. Mangus has to recontest it, or peek towards CT. Goes for the peek. Raga is close, makes noise, so Mangus knows about both. The stand-in, can he do it? Tries to jump away. They want to play together. It's a clean first shot from Mangus. Zello now up in the boost, and Mangus good and ready for both the stand-in. No, he's not a stand-in. They have parted ways with Eli for a while to get Mangus to do all the work, and so far it's just working beautifully for ECLOT. He was the difference maker on the second map, and this is just... you know, where's E-Life doing that? No offense, but I love this addition of Mangus. Raw firepower at its best.
Their experiments are bearing fruit for now, it would seem. It's going to be a tough thing for Eric Sith to follow. See if E-Live's got a future in the squad after all, after everything is said and done. But resetting Nexus, now they're back down to a bit of a force. And this one is pretty scrappy. I don't know that the CTs are going to be able to find too much mileage here. It's going to be based around this push towards the middle of the map. And we've seen Nexus try this plenty of times with weaponry both better and worse than this, and it's just not working out. Once again, this will be the third sort of mid-buy that they've attempted to make a play, and the middle is not comprising. Yeah, it's absolutely uncompromising here. Not working out, not cooperating. Lonks and Zello are all that remain. Should be an easy cleanup for a 7th round, and again, this is the final round of the half. So definitely looking good here for ECLOT. They're going to have to switch to their about even side. Nexus's strong side, however, is going to be the offense. Let's see if they can recover from this more disappointing start. Oh, we got a giveaway.
Before that, yeah, we do have the giveaway. How has been your luck? Because mine has been pretty good, to be honest.
I've been, yeah, gloves and knives and all sorts of
Gloves?
stuff. We got the chick. Oh yeah, we got the chicken one time recently. The chicken sticker is a good one. Not as valuable as a glove or a knife, but you know, we'll see. We'll see. Let's see whose luck is winning out here.
Talking about things I have not even seen. God damn! All right, and
nothing phenomenal here either.
Well, Plesha,
hey, well,
there you go.
Hey, hey, look, that's our guy. That's Pleshikov. Congrats, dude. There you go. Production winning out.
Enjoy your 50 cents.
That's right, yeah.
Or pleasure.
It's a special 50 cents. It's not about the
That's true.
price, it's about the memories you have,
now,
you know? So
I'll spend €2 for a name tag.
There it is, yeah. That's like putting gold trims on your beater car, which it's perfect. Nonetheless, Nexus are looking for something approaching perfect. If they end up clearing this pistol as well, I mean, I kind of give up on predicting them again in the pistol rounds. Forzy is going to be more than happy to take out the rival Opper. We are going to see a man disadvantage for Nexus in the pistol, but this is a weird one, right? I mean, 3 members in tunnels. They're going to explode towards mid, it would look like, or maybe try to wrap over on A, but they've already lost a player there, so seems less likely. A little bit of utility on both sides. ETN, the sole proprietor of Nexus's nades. And they've exposed where Mikey is. In the process, the bomb was spotted, so that's information, but how long is it going to be good for? And look at that, the drive-by from Raga, more than enough, but look at this angle! You got to watch out for that little gap. No re-smoke available. Oh, and this little split from window and door. Looks like it's good enough, though. Nexus are going to get onto the site. And yeah, BTN sticking around here. Through the smoke, Forzy trying his best. He's found one, but he will be dispatched. And a chaotic pistol. 5 out of 6 for Nexus.
Damn. I think we started slow, but we've just slowly but surely have been ramping up, right? We're back to back, round for round. This is exactly what we expected from this matchup. And even though it took Ancient and Anubis to kind of, get to the boiling point, this is where we really start to see some steam coming from both teams. Nexus conversion of the pistol, this is completely a 50-50 affair. And because ECLOT have won for the Force, Nexus are now in a position to make it 51% for them. 52 maybe. You win this round, the next one should be free. That's 9-8. They're trying to get away. That's information for both sides. So I think we're on for a little bit of a cooldown.
Yeah, indeed. The rotations are already coming in through CT spawn. You got Detour watching for any mid-push because it's uncharacteristic of Nexus to have all 5 from one position. We saw how this worked out for ECLOT. Spoiler, it didn't. Lonks, oh, he saw a player, but is that a 4-3 moment? He doesn't actually get any damage, and he's still alive. So for now, a bit neutral, but he's got 4 points of health. Yeah, he's going to get sprayed down from a range. MP9, Nubik will be traded through the smoke. It's chaos. It's utter chaos, but that's what we've come to expect from these mid-rounds, and looks like the force buy from the CTs will be held at an arm's length for just a moment longer. Raga from Car is going to be more than enough to clean house, and VTN helps out a little bit. It's a tie game, but damn, these are just knife-edge rounds.
Yeah, but it does mean we're just going to have the Eagles and USPs now for ECLOT, so I don't know. It always feels like they have things figured out. Like, okay, they're closing it. They're the leaders, whatever. You're expecting them to win, but Nexus are doing such a good job at holding on, such a good job at just always keeping us questioning things. Zello, good start. Takes down the pistols, and finally we get a round where there's no question which way it's going. This is 5 straight. Should be. They do lose Mac 10, which changes nothing. And Mac 10 actually got to form up some weaponry. And Nexus get themselves on 8, so now they're the leaders.
We'll take it. We'll take it. Nexus taking the lead. Not exactly a map they're necessarily favored on, with how ECLOT's been playing a little bit up in competition, but not by much, and not that much daylight between these two squads in terms of the scoreline either. Nexus have a game plan. Zella with the AWP is going to be posted up. Oh, right in this position, but that doesn't really go either player's way. Multiple opportunities. No frag. A little bit of damage to Mangus at the very least, but he's still comfy enough to stand by. He's got his A1S at the ready, a smoke on his back. Little utility belt there. Oh, okay. Well, sound has been flashed into mid. Clears it with no info. Info enough that there's no players there. This is a bit of an A-lean. Dynamo ECLOT don't have great rotations either.
Yeah, I think we're going to be seeing more of the same. There's, again, no reason not to play like this on Dust. You know, it's not a map where you have to slowly but surely take map control. It's a map where you have mid, that's the first step. After that, you just got to decide where you want to push, and in the meanwhile, you're just kind of trying to, you know, catch some timings on the opposition. So, minute in, now the push comes through. Raga the first one up, has to hit the shot. Forzy's there for one, but he's overwhelmed. Might be Mikey is there to help him, but Longs and Sound take them down, and that is a cracked open. That is Detour and NBQ, or Nubik, I believe is that's how you say it, right? They're sharing $100.
That's right,
here.
Yeah, he's
I've been saying it wrong for the whole series.
Oh, don't worry about it. It's a funky name, and to be honest, I'm usually less charitable. I usually just say it exactly how they write it. You know, in League of Legends, there's that player Reckless, and I've always called him Reckles, just because it gets such a good reaction. It's so fun.
Yeah.
No, but besides being a bit of a shit stirrer, we do obviously have Nubik in a funky position here. And yeah, as a result, that's going to be a 9th round for Nexus. They're looking pretty good here to continue on the pressure. Every time ECLOT go for it and finish you get a nice round there. Nexus are back with 1, usually 2 in a row. So definitely going to be favoring the Romanian squad. They are knocking on the door of double digits. And ever since we switched sides, well, their win percentage is showing. It's a good call to favor them on the T side. Finally, we get a tactical pause out of Dynamo ECLOT. I can't believe it. How? How has it come to this?
Second one. Yeah. That is a good point, right? That they just neither team really, I guess, need these. I don't know. I feel like some teams call them too much, right?
Sure, yeah.
But the fact that this is the second one in the whole best of 3, and we've had some close games. You know, we've had times where probably 30 seconds of doesn't even matter if you have like something to say. A lot of times the emotions are high, and if you're on a bit of a bad momentum, like ECLOT are right now, like you probably just want to chill out for even half a minute. You know, kind of get back in better headspace. Oh, there's a CS logo. Never noticed that.
Soccer,
trademarked,
as the Americans say. No, listen, I like the fact that
don't
soccer ball's there, right?
You mean the football?
I like the fact that the ball's there. But no, that's not a hand egg. What are you talking about? The cool thing,
that's
though,
an interesting
is that,
way to pronounce football.
Yeah. The fun part that for me is that, like, one thing I would like to see changed is that during tactical timeouts, you should be able to kick the ball around. I think that would be good. We'll see.
That is, we should have like some mini games. Not during tactical
timeouts. Okay, that's a little cheeky one. He knew that the jump throw was coming in, and he just had the shot dialed in. There you go. Well, that's one way to make it happen. Remember, this is a kind of a jank buy for ECLOT, so any advantage they can get, they're going to take with both open arms. This is a tough one. Can Dynamo ECLOT read what's happening here is the question. Raga leading the charge, tip of the spear, looking for the headshot. Detour just doing what he needs to, staying alive and getting a frag. Oh, that's impossible. Mangus will be traded very quickly, and eventually Detour will get run down, but trying to steady aim. Oh, it's getting away from him. Sound with 7 points of health. 2-on-2 now. Let's see what happens as the rotates are going to come in through long.
And they arrive. Look at the HPs, man. I mean, the scout can do everything here. 4Z. That's at this point an op with an increased movement speed, right? Like, that is difficult to deal with. Sound feels impossible. Surely they should be expecting him there, right? It's either short or in the corner, and since the smoke is down, I don't think they're expecting him to wait it out. They tap the bomb. Sound doesn't bite, which is very smart given his HP. Like, he's not going to peek out here. Now I think they're going to be expecting him on short. They're still clear. Sound could be doing it out in the open spots again. I feel like he could have went for the spam. Now, that is a very close one where I don't even know if you get the headshot if you go for the spam. But the fact that he decides to peek out in the open, well, that really nice attempt. I guess some micro decision-making could be better, but yeah, nothing to be taken away from him. ECLOT bounce back. Hey, man, the tag timeout effect. The new meta.
Yeah, listen, they've got a couple of get-out-of-jail-free cards, it looks like. They'll be happy with that. But it's still a one-round lead for Nexus, and of course they've still got money. Bomb plant, forwards than that. Full rifles now for Dynamo ECLOT, but they are going to get gunned down immediately. Mangus, the first victim. He's been such a standout player so far. Needs to bet himself into the squad a little bit more, it seems, because now we've got 3 men for Dynamo towards the middle of the map. This could get caught here by Zello or even by Lonks. Honestly, either one of them could do it. Utility's been spotted. Oh, Mikey's going to swing. There's no hope for Zello to hit that kind of flick. You don't expect so many of them there. But this pulls the trigger, and Lonks, he is the lurk. Mikey and Detour don't notice him. They're both kind of checking for him, but now they've started to peel away, and this flank can come in so perfectly. The utility being executed onto the site. Lonks has found one going down into CT. Forzy's a dead man walking, dead man sitting, and that is a nice and easy 2-piece for him. Mikey, the last line of defense on this site from Goose, and he is also driven to extinction. It's just Nubica left alive in a 1-on-3 that he is not going to go for.
Yeah, Nexus, again, have just taken the rifle rounds by storm. Like, ECLOT started off really good on their T side, and this is kind of why I feel like Dust 2 is better, just slightly better for the T side, just because it feels like the rifle rounds are just easier with the rifles. That's not the case with the AKs, rather. I mean, yeah, the rifle rounds are easier with the rifles. No shit. But I feel like the AKs just get a lot of good headshots off, and on a map like Dust 2, where, you know, it's just, you just have to clear the angles. There's not exactly 4D chess being played here. Works out. Well, talking about it, NBQ gets to save 1. 8k in the bank for him. So, money is not a problem. Getting rounds is. Beautiful entry by Lonks here, for sure.
Yeah, a lot of that was set up for him, too. I mean, it took Zello's sacrifice there, right? The fact that he ends up going down in suicide means that it's a nice little spot for Dynamo ECLOT to start things off, but Lonks knows exactly what's happening, and the rest of the team immediately pulls the trigger to get the set piece going. Mangus once again charging. It's Mikey and Mangus trying to combine. Oh, wow, the ladder is already down, and so too is Mikey. So that's a wrap there. It's just going to be Forzy on the line. Can he hold? Can he buy enough time for the rotations to come through? They're very worried about a mid push, and it's not coming, not in the cards. BTN all the way back in spawn. The rest of the team slowing things down. Nexus have reached double digits. They want to improve their scoreline even more. And information as Zello commits to pit. They know the op is there. They know the op might repeak. Given enough time, Dynamo might make a mistake.
Yeah, that has been the game plan so far. I do like that they keep Zello on long, so if there's an engagement, which doesn't really seem likely, I mean, that still draws a lot of players. That is a well-timed smoke, right? Because now they have to respect it. Actually, Forzy wants to get in, kind of play ahead of it, but I mean, there's only one on B. And BQ hits a shot with the op. Now the plan should be illuminated. Forzy gets one with the op on the other side.
No way.
And seems like the double op setup, I mean, they prepared for this. This is what they were waiting for. And BQ needs another shot to just shut this down. Gets it out in the open, not ready for the third. I mean, ready, just shot not there. Raga now spots info, will lay down the molly, and this should allow him to commit to the bomb plan. But there's a rotation arriving real quickly from window. Detour chooses to wait for Forzy, which is smart, gives time for Raga to relocate, but there's not really anything he can get off to, so just going to be playing on a very default angle. They know about his presence, and that's Detour taking him down, 9th on the board. ECLOT stay strong, try to bounce back in the game. Double ops, man.
Yeah, and they're taking it into the next round too, which Nexus should be aware of. You get a little bit of a sneak peek at what's going on the team when you're watching the defuse. So you saw them both go for it. And that's going to be valuable information, but Nexus, what's your response to it? You might know it's there. Do you know how to counter it? Do you know how to dismantle it? That's the question as we enter into round 20. Only one round separating these two teams. They've been neck and neck since Anubis. Ancient, obviously, a much more one-sided affair in favor of the Romanians, but Nexus, they had the lead. They might be quaffing it right now. Doesn't always go down easy.
Oh, big nade. Won't touch them too much, though. We still have the double ops in place, so I think this is certainly something to keep an eye out for. Not a lot of times teams go for this setup, and it is one that if it doesn't work, it's really bad. Your main objective here is to get the ops to get the initial picks, because if you lose the initial pick, then you're in trouble. You have 2 ops, and that's really difficult to retake and just move around the map with. So, great on Forzy. He's following the game plan perfectly for now. The opening player advantage won't change anything in terms of the pacing. Nexus still waiting out for the pushes, but I feel like ECLOT are smarter than that. Just gonna wait it out.
Yeah, I've kind of disliked both teams' T-side plans so far, the fact that they are being so reactive. Because if the opponents just wait on their angles, and you aren't able to get miraculous entries, you need to sow chaos as the T's. You need to force them to move. There's not really much of an incentive, an impetus for Dynamo ECLOT to do anything but hold, especially since they've gotten that first frag. And that was without any util, with just pure contact. Now, if Nubik ends up dropping this, maybe we can see a little bit of a different story in round 20. But with only 20 seconds left on the clock, Nexus are going to go for it. That's a nice swing from Lonks. But still, the refocus there from the secondary sniper. He's still alive in car. Pulling out the sidearm as Detour. Eventually, they'll be brought down. And finally, Nubik will hit the deck. Mangus has spotted Zello. That's a dead T. And now in a 1-on-2 with the bomb plant, BTN has it all to do.
Can he do it? Trying to jump around, fake out some shots, but he's heard. They're expecting the window peek. They should be. Mangus! Oh, he gets taken down, and Forzy caught some of that damage just through his teammate. BTN now going for the silent drop. I think the snelling noise was made, though. Trying to push to the window. Forzy will get it. I'm down to the line there, but it's Forzy to save the team again, and he has just been a force to be reckoned with. I'd say it has been Forzy for ECLOT, and then the new addition in place of Eli Mangus on the side of ECLOT doing all the work, right? Like, these two players are just so good when it comes to getting those impact frags.
Yeah, it would have been a very different story here if Nexus had actually been able to entry more comfortably. They didn't hemorrhage players on the entrance into B, and that was after, obviously, that was a 4v5. So bringing it down to a 1-on-1, great for the money management. Nexus is going to be very proud of that, the fact that they know their opponents are going to be on a weak-ish bye, weaker than they would like, and also that they're facing a reset if this goes the way of the Romanians. But conversely, as they take attack pause themselves, they got to tuck over their own buy. They don't have a lot of money. The bomb plant, not enough to afford them a fully fledged buy. They are going to be on 3 AKs, a MAC-10, and a Deagle. So whatever they do, they've invested into lots of utility. They know they want to continue playing it slow, but they are going to need to be able to pull the trigger when it matters, and they can't get picked apart. by slowly facing Dynamo's angles. They know a sniper is still in prediction. They know that Forzy was able to recover that op towards Car. Should certainly be high in their minds. This is not an opless buy from the CTs.
Man, you want to talk predictions? I feel like this slow start of the round is the perfect time to figure it out. I'm saying ECLOT 13-11.
Yeah, that could very well be the case. We talked about it before we went live earlier with this map, that it seems like ECLOT is the team that is the one to beat, right? They're the ones with the slight advantage. They're the ones that have gotten better action. You made a good point earlier as well that Dust 2 is a map that was not played previously between these two squads. They don't know how this squad plays Dust 2 with Mangus. And so, at the very least, getting some good damage now are ECLOT. They're able to get some unconfirmed value there. Exchanging utility, but at this point, I think Nexus know they can push this angle. Forzy, nade in hand. Gonna drop that incendiary. Oh, he's flashed. He can't really go for the peak. And, well, Mikey and Forzy are going to be able to get some frags. This is still active for now, but it's really thin on the ground. And there you go, Sounded Zello finally firing back. And with Mangus dropping in mid, oh, man, that's the worst possible angle. Losing the player pit means that you only have a couple players left. And in this 2-on-3, I don't think ECLOT are wise for going for this. I think they need to start thinking about the save, especially with Detour going down. Nubik, get out of dodge, my friend. Use that A1S. Fight another day. This is 11 for Nexus.
Damn, Nexus, they find a way how to make it happen. All right. I mean, there's not always when I watch Dust 2, it's just like, you know, normally casters do like play-by-play in color. When you watch Dust 2, it's just like, well, we can both do play-by-play because there's rarely any, like, you know, next-level strategical department involved. Obviously, you know, Tier 1 teams are still inventing meta ways to play Dust 2, but at the end of the day, like, there's 3 lanes, there's like 10 smokes or 5 smokes you gotta know, and that's about it. The rest comes down to the aim, which honestly has been so 50-50 today, right? Again, just to kind of remind everyone, if you're just tuning in, Ancient was just a blowout by Nexus. They were winning pretty much every single rifle round. Anubis was close in the first half, and then ECLOT just found second win in the second half and converted easily on CT side of Anubis. So that's where their rifle rounds came in. And as we arrive on Dust, I mean, as close as you can get in terms of the rifle rounds. Unfortunately for ECLOT, there's only one more remaining in this game. If they don't win it, that could be it. Nexus have taken the lead to 11, so my 11-13 prediction, I mean, we gotta be flawless with the USP, boys. Come on.
And Nubik already so low on the A1S kind of complicates things even further. He's on the right site for what Nexus are targeting. And Lonks has already found one of the pistol players. You can kind of use those USPs as utility, but Forzy just trying to see if he can pass the sniff test, and with Nubik already being fragged, it's going to have to be Tarek-esque from Forzy. Where's his cereal ball? Turns out he doesn't have one. That's a wrap for him. And Mangus and Mikey, distraught, facing Nexus's 12th round. This is going to be series point. Something absolutely miraculous would have to happen, and it's just not in the cards. Mikey, 1v4 with the USP. Mangus found one. That's all that they will find in the round. And Dynamo ECLOT, well, they did the right move in terms of saving their economy. Remember, that reset on the previous round is very impactful, but they're going to need to play for OT now. And then it's going to require 2 in a row.
I don't know. I feel like this is not it. I feel like this is not where we end today. Because Anubis is actually the same scenario. It was 10-10, and then ECLOT just went on a 3-round spree. Now, I don't know. I have an inkling that at overtime, it would be poetic, right? It would be the finisher we kind of come to expect in a matchup like this between two teams looking to prove themselves for different reasons. ECLOT now has the addition of Mangus, which honestly seems to be working out really well. And Nexus, well, they're always there. There's always Nexus. They're never super good. They're never super bad. So now they're looking to go for, you know, a bit of a run again. Get on a streak. Both teams, of course, already 1-0 in the group stage. So this would be to put yourself one best of 3 away from getting to the playoffs early, which, again, I feel like for a team like Nexus to be up 2-0, like, they're the ones who are surprising me more in that regard. All they have to do is find 5 rifles. If you can't, better luck in the next round. That's utility usage spotted from Zello, but he has the op, and Mikey does not want to over-aggress. That's smart. Zello is holding the line down, although a bit high. We'll see if flick is needed. Mikey, there he is. He's going to get sound instead. That's the bomb drop. Now smoke will be dropped as well, and they might blow open the smoke to give Forsey a chance.
Definitely an option. You got to watch out for these smoke break timings. Smoke break means something a little bit different in America. It means you get 5 minutes of a break for free just so you can bum a cig. Not really what we're after. Nubik's got a deep line here, and it might not even be necessary. Well, actually, turns out it is. The op misses a shot. Nice little ninja angle. That's going to be good for 2. Forsey's been dropped, but nice and easy. Dynamo ECLOT, the kills fall into place, and they've recovered the AWP as well. They are still in it.
Well, they've always been in it. They're the better team here. They're the ones expected to win. You know, it's Nexus who are, I think, turning heads.
Oh, yeah.
And we do have to remember that this is ECLOT now attempting the reverse sweep, because they did get off to a rather horrendous old map pick of Ancient. So, overtime needed. We have a Deagle on Rog, a lot of nade damage. They're just going to go quickly for it. Nexus want to stick true to what got them here. Just raw mechanical beasts, as somebody in the chat called them. Well, they've gotten long control. That's a good start. But you still have a lot to work with here. And that car player, I mean, surely they clear him, right? There's 3 mollies. Lonks has to get this frag. It kind of comes down to this. Spots the hand, but Mangas, the new addition. He stands tall out in the open. He will be taken down by BTN. He felt like he had to get away because they just knew exactly where he is. So it is a one and done type of situation. Maybe with a serial bolt.
Smoke as well. That doesn't really sell the deal. Zello is here with the op, but that smoke is not going to be good for the cross. And so I think that kind of gives the game away. Now, Nubik, oh, he's going to find BTN nice and easy. Good trade, at the very least. Doesn't go down. Sounds so low, though. HE, he's got a dodge utility. Normandy for the man. Starting to close the net, though. Are they going to expect Detour? It feels like not. Raga. Oh, no. Oh, the 2-man spray down. Heartbreaker. That's the bomb as well. Zello with it all to do. 1-on-3. If there was ever a man for the job to avoid extra rounds required, it would be him. I don't think that's what we're going to get here. First frag found. Is he going to be watchful for Forsey? Oh. The op, it hits through the wall. He's still alive and upgrades to the AK for the situation. Oh. The HE predicts him, but he dodges it back. He is too tricky for this.
Yeah, he has to commit, though, and unfortunately, immediately as he does, you know, there's a run-up coming. Forsey gets the frag. Yeah. Nothing Zello can do in that situation. The utility usage to delay him was so well placed, and yeah, ECLOT, they've done it. They've pushed overtime here. We were right. It's not going to end in another 30-10. So, yesterday they went to double overtime. Today, we'll see how many. It does feel like it's a total 50-50 today, right? Like both teams are putting the right step forward, just not getting there yet. And you know what this means? This means we, I believe, have an extra giveaway. So that's fun. Something extra.
Yeah, that's true. We have a giveaway at the OT half. Going to be a good time there for everybody. I don't know. Looking at this, though, it is still pretty hard to expect to try to do some kind of prediction. The analysis doesn't quite favor either one of these squads, but ECLOT might have been able to find some form. Whoever fights back into overtime, even if it was only a 2-round streak that got you there, which is the case here, still feels like you just got a lot of momentum, right? It's a breath of fresh air. You can sigh of relief. Whereas the other guys are frustrated. They could have closed it. They had 2 series points. They could be done by now. Not going to be the case. Extra rounds required on Dust 2. We'll see which way the wind blows, as lots of utility expended towards the A double doors. And 3 members of Dynamo ECLOT holding. They were expecting the same kind of strategy as what happened in the previous round to get us here. That's not the case. It's a group up towards mid, and it looks like they'll have tempo to get through. Very nice. Phasing through. That was a bit of a risk, but all the utility tells them a story. BTN, oh, not going to be able to trade Nubik there in that situation. A little bit rough here, but, you know, now it's all down to Detour. He finds the first. Oh, man, he's brought so low from that op wall bang, but it's going to be more than enough here for them to get onto the site. Mikey has to watch his back. Nobody's available to do it for him, and now he's going to peek over through window. Zello holding it. Zello's got it. Headshot given over. This is a bomb plant in favor of Nexus, and, you know, the OT doesn't give you a ton of money here, so you do have to watch out for that. You can't always just be going for retake simulator over and over again. That's a factor that they're going to start to consider as Mangus is looking for a frag in the back. BTN might oblige him.
Yeah, normally I'd actually disagree with you. I think you have plenty of money in overtime, but this round, I don't know where all the money went, but corruption, I guess. I don't know. 2.7k is crazy in 4Z. If you lose the op, you're like, you know, he's going to be able to afford it once. If you lose next round, that's going to be a 5-7. And the op is gone. So you are right. At a 4.6k on 4Z, he can't even buy the op himself. Not even close. If you'd want the Kevlar, yeah, great start for Nexus. Where did the money go? Am I tripping? I'll figure it out some other time. Go on.
I think it might be 10k start.
No, it is, but I don't know. It might just, it might be the double up setup. I mean, look at that cash. That's crazy. Like normally,
yeah, they've got
when
nothing.
teams lose the first 2 rounds of overtime, like they're still gonna have, you know, majority rifles, an MP9, maybe a 5.7. Worst case, this ECLOT need this round 100%. That double op setup is so costly, and the M4 is the one to do the work. Mikey delivers 2, and now the op gets 1 as well. We're right back into it, of course.
Yeah, with Raga going down elsewhere as well, not able to overpower the 3 rifles staring him down. One of them was an op, and Lonx is even going to be naded down. Odds slim to none in a 1-on-5. He'll be taken out without incident, and yeah, they'll hold on to their weapons. Every member staying alive. I think if even one goes down, that's still problems. You're still going to be looking at a lower utility for the rest of the players. That round was so fast, they didn't even bleed the utility, so that investment, not something that matters either. And yeah, Nexus are going to be kicking themselves for that one because it could have gone a very different angle if they were just as slow as they had been throughout the rest of the map for the most part.
Ooh, I feel like double overtime here is more possible than not. Above 50%, at least 51. Just with the way how things have been going, like momentum at this point is non-existent. We're trading rounds back and forth. The longs will get the better end of Mikey, and look at the setup on ECLOT's side. Like they have such a strong setup towards short and B that A long is completely left open with the smoke down. That's a sight given over. Sound, no way, dude. Ow, that's crazy.
Moving blind headshot. That.
Yeah. Damn.
All right. God said not today, buddy. Wild stuff, wild scenes. The bomb will go down. That's going to be a 14th for Nexus. They are hunting for that 16, like it's Counter-Strike of old. A nice crispy headshot from Sound. He might even be able to finish Nubik off, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen with that sidearm coming out. No HP for him, though. So even though there's nothing else to save for, nothing else to play for, he has to go for it. It's just impossible, and, well, we're going to see why here and now. That's it. Nexus with a very slim lead going into the second half of OT1. I agree with you that it's a distinct possibility we get OT2 out of these 2 teams, but we'll have to see if Nexus can be on lock on the CT side. Meanwhile, before that, a lovely little giveaway. Who among our squad here in the chat, redeeming for those Twitch channel points, is going to be blessed with a skin? A nice little red one there for a moment, but quickly removed as there's going to be an op skin headed over to Slavion.
That's a nice skin. I like it. I think it is the best kind of budget AVP skin. It looks really nice. replace the what was it? They dropped a new case. This op wasn't originally in it. It was, I think, the Ob Doodle lore, which was just like a dragon lore, but like a doodle. But then it turned out the guy who made it, who was actually from my country, I was like, oh my god, nice, my country is represented in CS. Well, he stole it, so had to be replaced. Now we have Ob Duality, which is honestly an upgrade. That's actually a play skin I used to use. Anyways, enough about skins. We're in the halftime of this overtime. Time to talk about, the real deal. What's at hand? What's at stake here? Nexus now have 1 round lead. And I'll actually change my prediction from double overtime. I don't know. I just have a feeling that Nexus have this. I think they're locking it in here. 16-14 or 16-13.
Yeah, it could very well be the case. Yeah, I think really for their side, as they wait to reconnect here to the server, we're waiting on Nexus to really activate, right? Zello's got his AWP, and obviously that's going to be a significant factor as the series goes on, as it continues in OT. Zello has kind of gone quiet since Ancient, right? If you think about it, he had some impact, he had some nice crispy headshots, but the score lines, it doesn't immediately tell you everything that it needs to tell you there. So it's something that you got to factor in, you got to think about going into this second half of OT1. Can the op be impactful for Nexus? That's the question that people are asking. And so we'll get an answer very shortly. Freeze time activated. Of course, Forzy's on the sniper. He's been playing very well for his team on Anubis and now on Dust 2. Had some very nice shots on Ancient as well. So a stalwart throughout. Seems like it's a bit more of a team effort for Nexus, conversely. Their kills distributed. Sound obviously leading the charge. And there it is. Well, Forzy's already fragged him. Not a great scintillating start for OT1. Second half. Nexus down a man. It's going to have to be the riflers to pick up the pieces.
Well, we've always had these slow approaches to Dust, and now as we get into overtime, like with the tensions as high as they could ever be, like this is not really going to change. Again, it is the preferred way how to play Dust, the smarter way. If you're playing game percentages, like there's always a reason to wait out your opponent's mistakes, if there are any. So far, Zello's death has been quite costly. He's the impact player to watch out for. ECLOT, though, are just looking to set up for this B execute, and I think that's going to be coming in rather quickly. There's a smoke thrown, and Longs has the worst possible weapon to deal with this. Like, I don't even know what you do here if you're Longs. You're completely smoked off. There's no help on the other side, and I don't know, if he gets away from the smoke, like, he's dead here. The one is going to be a lot. Misses the shot. 1 kill, maybe. That's Longs with 1. They haven't run him down, actually. This gives some time for the rotations to arrive, but still Longs... Yeah, just nowhere to hide in that engagement, and they're not ready, but still getting the frag on Mangas. That's a 3v3 with the bomb planted. It's set up Nexus from a 3 CT retake.
Yeah, and they're going to go for it, of course. They do have the ability to buy in the round number 2. It's the next one that's going to get scary for them. And the flash is good to blind Forzy. That lets them get onto the site. Sound already trying to trade. BTN had a great flick earlier, but he's brought down already. And it's Raga versus Forzy. Op is not going to be in the picture. It's going to be the pistol instead. Oh. And the A4 cleans it up. We've got a 15th for Nexus.
Damn. Nexus are just always finding a way how to get that upper hand. The communication there was a little bit bad, right? Because Raga was not sure where the last player is, and it should have been clear. But just the fact that Forzy runs out of bullets is really what seals the deal here. Like, he has no other option than to just go with, I believe, the Glock. And yeah, that's going to be Nexus on map point now. They had 2 chances to close out in regulation. Were not able to stand up to the task. And now it's ECLOT again to show us how and why they deserve to win this. Why they were the slight favorites heading into the matchup.
Well, Nubik had the spawn, not going to get the frag. And he's going to be bombed out of that position anyway, so good that he X-scarred. Gives him a little bit more of a lifeline here. He is within the 1-bullet headshot range, though. The chip damage adds up a lot for the CTs. Turns their A1Ss into AKs, if for the first shot. Hasn't mattered for Sound one bit, though. 27 frags. Clearly the standout player right now for Nexus. If they win this, it'll in large part be due to his performance. And Raga hasn't been too far behind either. A nice little resurgence there in the clutch. Finish things off and get them their 15th. You're right, though. It took them 2 series points earlier in regulation, and they still didn't get it over the line. Is it just that they needed another chance? Detour lurking out. Lonks played it a little bit nervous, but at the very least got a frag with the op. Slowed down the approach, got the rotations in. Now he needs to do the same, this time with the A1S. And it will indeed be a B finish here for ECLOT. This is what they're staking their claim on. With 40 seconds left on the clock, the rotations are pretty far, and Lonks hasn't spotted any information. He could get backstabbed so hard here.
That is the worst possible timing. Sound still gets one, but needs a double here. Needs some way to keep them at bay, deal some more damage, and this will be the plan 100%. And if a 3v3 retake works out, sure, but this time it's a 3v4. You're gonna have the cash in the next round to, like, buy anything you want, pretty much, but yeah, they might just go for the save. That op actually is too valuable. You can't buy that, or then you don't have Kevlar or Util. Good call from ECLOT, right? They see kind of how weak that side is in the previous round, and they go, alright, let's just hit it again. We were able to overwhelm Lonks, and even if he doesn't have the op this time, like, I mean, timing works out so well in their favor as well, but it is a good call. 14 to 15. Let's see if there's a knee-jerk reaction from Nexus now to put more defensemen towards B site.
Yeah, because that could be the squeaky bum time, as the technical term, I believe, for Nexus is, like, if they start to garrison the B site, well, ECLOT can just go, hey, at this point, what's the mind game? What's the angle here? Nubik started it off with an attempted op pick. It didn't work out. Forzy's got the spawn now. Maybe he can make things happen a bit differently. This feels like an A doors is going to be the primary point of contact here in the opening. Who is going to hold him at bay? And is it going to be Zello attempting it? Or is he going to just posture more towards the suicide position? Actually, it's not going to be the A doors. Instead, Lonks gets peppered through the door. Is that going to change the rotations? It's still 3 long. Not going to be a fast play any one position from the T's, but it does look like this is a little bit more of an even split, right? Sound isn't cheating towards middle as quickly. He's now starting to rotate over. They were worried about some kind of fast-paced play to knock us into OT2. This could be the never-ending series. You never know between these two squads. Hotly contested so far on Dust 2, but it looks like it might be a bit more of an A push.
Yeah, you have one chance at this. It's a good flash. Zello's so blind, has to drop off. The drop is heard. There's a triple man setup, so committing to it would not be too smart.
Rough stuff in a big way here right now. Looks like it'll be pivoting back to the B bomb site. Dynamo ECLOT. Definitely going to have the numbers really advantage onto the smaller one. Yeah.
Sound spots one, that's a big headshot, 30 seconds as well, so you have to commit to it, you have to walk through, but it's Sound, it might just be one-man show, as he has popped up for 2, does not need to peek anymore, right? At this point, you just try to survive, there's 25 seconds, Forzy still hits the shot while Flash, but Raga is there, Nate comes through, and up on the boosted position, it's Longs looking to shut it all down, the guy they shut down twice will come through for the third. Good conversion, and Nexus, they do it after all, their second chance is the charm. 16 to 14, an overtime shutdown, and Nexus have now put themselves up 2-0 in the group.
Yeah, once it came to OT, your prediction sailed on through. 16-14 in favor of the Romanian squad. Nexus are going to be very happy with that win. It is a slight upset, but there's always little things that run differently when you have a rematch so soon after the previous, and when you're talking about a team betting in a new player. So we'll see if those experiments continue for ECLOT, but in the meanwhile, they will drop to the 1-1 bracket. And yeah, Nexus moving on into the 2-0 start. Not where we thought we would see these players, but man, Sound played out of his mind on Dust 2. 30 bomb. Yeah, it took a little bit of extra rounds, but he was mid-20s, even in regulation. So solid play from him. The Romanian squad continues to persevere. And at the very least, if they can try to find that consistency, we know they can be this good on the usual. but they're not always that way. So they are hunting for that. It's such an elusive mistress to try to find in the tier 2 of Counter-Strike. So let's see if they can keep on going as time continues marching forward in this tournament.
Yeah, not really too much to take away from this matchup, I feel. It was exactly what we expected, a close affair between two teams that, again, are trying to prove themselves for different reasons. It will be Nexus, again, congratulations. I think that also concludes, this is the only game today, I believe. The second one got postponed, but we do have a lot of Counter-Strike for tomorrow, so I think it's time for everyone, especially us, to just go rest, chill out a little bit, and return with more of Galaxy Battle tomorrow. And it was me, Twist. It was a pleasure casting alongside you. And yeah, we'll see you guys some later time. Bye bye.